What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara. I am Sharif, and as per usual, we're going to wait for people to migrate on over from the other stream. We already have some people in the chat. We got Big Nimit in there, as well as Big Kyle Burdette, Juan Padilla, Pitchbull Step, and we got Wuko, Andrew Chow, OG Darwood in the chat. We got KK, Emma Fernandez, Raj. What's up, Raj? We got Dan Emmons, Big Dan Emmons as well. Hog Rider, Jimmy J, Clayton. Yo, what's up, Clayton? Priyana. We got Clutch. We got my man Adam Deluce, numero 13. I'm assuming that's how many times you've said what's up in the chat. We got Ronaldo. We got Skipper. We got New York, Bless USA, Anthony. We got Ralph Woodward, Dad Trader, Futures Trader Extraordinaire. The Gauntlet is in the house. Adara, great show today. We're talking about candlesticks all week. That has been the topic of the week. We're going to continue that today. Today, we're going to do some advanced candlestick patterns, some of the ones that we've been talking about on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where, you know, the more elementary ones, introductory ones. Today, we're going to get a little bit more complicated, not too much, though. Just enough to kind of wet your beak, so to speak, and kind of get the creative juices flowing so you can do your own research on that and get yourself apprised. I didn't put the topics because, well, you know, can't go a day without I don't make a mistake. So I'm going to send it to you real quick while I get that set up, and maybe you can tell people what you're looking at right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at everything. I have to say this market has been a very delicious, appetizing looking it's just a good look today. I like IBM. We're extremely high on the day. If there's a dip, I might hop back in because what I'm noticing is a lot of these ones super high on the day and they do not want to stop. So I don't want to, you know what I mean? I want to discount this right away. If there is a dip, I shall hop in. Also, I was talking to Sharif about this off camera, but I'm slightly enticed here by BlackBerry, oddly enough. We did have a catalyst on this one. It was an upsized private offering of 170 million 3% convertible senior notes due 2029. If there's a dip buy opportunity, I shall dip my toe in, go back to the past, 2007, and get some BlackBerry over here. I do like this look. Other ones Sharif and I have been talking about. I'm going to save the Meta talk because I know Sharif has a very adept analysis of Meta. But also, I'm kind of slightly enticed by Apple over here as well. Let me look at Apple. Yeah, Apple, I mean, now we've kind of fallen off the cliff a little bit, but if we were kind of continuing to make those higher lows, higher highs, I would have gotten in around this 195.40. Very happy I didn't, because now we're moving further to the downside here, but I do think Apple is not a bad look at all with some of that Vision Pro anticipation next week and earnings next week as well. So nice stuff for the Big Apple going forward here. Yeah, lots to look at.
All right, okay, so let's get working right now. We're going to talk about the first of the candlestick patterns today. So the ones that we're talking about today have a bullish twist and a bearish twist. Okay, so they go both ways, and we're going to talk about exactly what to look for, whether it's a bullish pattern or a bearish pattern. Let's start with that first one, Fabian. If we can start on that first topic, pin bar. That is the first one. Let's talk a little bit about that. Here is the look at what the pattern actually looks like IRL. So this one, the pin bar, what is this all about? This is undoubtedly the most traded pattern out there, according to this book, and for good reason. The pattern is used by traders to identify possible trend reversals or continuations after a pullback. Its accuracy is significantly higher when it forms around key support and resistance levels or trend lines or moving averages. So essentially what we're looking at here is this candle. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a second, but you should know that its significance is really increased when it is combined with something else, whether a trend line, a key price level, a moving average, an EMA, an SMA, whatever you're using, or whatever it seems to have confluence with. So what you're looking for here is a confluence. You're always looking for confluence, but in this particular case, more so. So what is this bullish pin bar all about? This is basically characterized by its long lower wick and relatively small body. So you can see the long lower wick, small body, and short upper wick. Okay, the tail of the pin bar, or its lower shadow, so this area right here, has to be at least 2/3 of the length of the entire candlestick, okay? So you can kind of do your own analysis about how to figure that out, and you can look at the price, and then you can figure out how much here to here is worth and whether or not that is 2/3 or not. So what you're looking for, that it has to have a long lower shadow, and that lower shadow has to be at least 2/3 of the entire price action of that candle for the pattern to be valid, okay? And what you're looking for here is a downtrend preceding this bullish pin bar, okay? So it's a reversal pattern, all right? So you're looking for a downtrend prior to it, and then you're looking for a move up after that, okay? The bearish pin bar, exactly the opposite of the bullish pin bar. It's the opposite. It has a long upper shadow, a small body, and a short lower shadow, okay? This rejection of higher price signals that the market may be losing momentum and that a bearish reversal may very well come soon. Once the bearish pin bar is confirmed, traders look for short selling opportunities. So exactly the opposite of the bullish pin bar. What you're looking for here is an uptrend to precede the making of this bearish pin bar, and then you want the top of the tail, in this case, not the lower part, but the top part, to be 2/3 of the entire candle, and to look for the candle after that to be a newer low. So you're looking for that trend to continue to the downside. So that is what a pin bar is. Any questions or any comments, Adara?
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of similar then to what we have with the hammer candles, right? Where you have,
Yes.
So I was gonna say this is kind of what it looks like to me. So yeah, just I guess a more
So the hammer candle
planned out version
is usually characterized by no upper wick or no lower wick.
Okay.
It's one or the other, and that's why it's, you know, the hammer,
I see.
right?
Okay.
Also, we don't measure the length of the lower wick with the hammer. In this case, we're doing some measuring.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So it was just like a slightly more precise
Yes, ma'am.
version of the hammer candle with the skosh of a wick on top. or
Yes, ma'am.
bottom.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate that.
So let's go on to the next one, Harami. Okay, and look, don't come at me in the chat, okay? I didn't make up these names, and I don't want any grief from you guys, all right? But the Harami candle is Japanese for pregnant, all right? I didn't make this up. The word Harami is Japanese for pregnant. We can go to the screen so I can show the actual pattern itself. The term represents the pattern's appearance, which resembles a pregnant woman's body with a small candlestick. Well, you guys get it. So this is the woman, and that's her stomach over here. I didn't make it up, okay? Leave me alone. Well, dude, what am I supposed to call it? The Japanese. No, not Harambe, Kyle. Calm down. That's like 2018, right? Do you remember the Harambe thing, the gorilla?
Yeah, that was like, it was 2016.
Oh,
I was in high
man.
school when that was happening. Yeah, I remember that because that was massive.
That was
wild.
I felt bad for her. I'm like, free Harambe and like justice for Harambe.
I remember that.
And you know how much I love gorillas, right? So that to me, I mean,
It was a hard summer.
sad times in my life. I'm kidding, of course. All right, guys, let's get to work. Let's talk serious now, okay? So basically, what we're looking at here is the forming of the pattern when there's two consecutive candlesticks. The first candlestick has a long body and a small shadow. Okay. The second candlestick is a small candle with a body that is entirely inside the previous candlestick's body, okay? So remember when we talked about engulfing candles? This is a form of that, okay? But we look at it a little bit differently, whether it's in an uptrend or a downtrend, all right? In an uptrend, the Harambe pattern will have the first candlestick green and the second candlestick red. This indicates a possible trend reversal. So over here, look what preceded the making of this candle. We had an uptrend, and then we had a big green candle completely engulfing the red candle subsequent to it, okay? So that's what we're looking at there. Likewise, in a downtrend, this is the bullish Harambe, this is a reversal pattern. So what typically precedes it is either a downtrend, and if it's a bearish Harambe pattern, what precedes it is an uptrend. So in a downtrend, the first candlestick, like you can see here, is red, and the second one is green. Good time to look for buying opportunities here. So that's what we're looking for. So we're looking for a candle with small wicks, either upper or lower wicks. Obviously, in the bullish pattern, we're looking for a red candle, and then we're looking for a green candle subsequent to that, which is completely encased in the price action of the red candle. And then the subsequent candle should be a new green candle to make a high. Likewise over here, when we're talking about the bearish one, it should be a new red candle to make a new low. Any questions or comments, Adira?
I have to say, it kind of seems like the opposite of an engulfing a little bit, right? So where we have the larger candle and then the subsequent candle, which is going to, yeah, sorry, yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm seeing there. Yeah, apologies there. But also, there was a comment in the chat here as well that I saw that I kind of, oh yeah, Rich Law saying in the downtrend she has the baby. Which is kind of funny there.
I'm gonna leave all the jokes to you guys. I'll just say the names and what they mean, and you guys come up with as many jokes as you like. I'm not taking responsibility.
But yeah, I like to also. It kind of looks like you're springing up for more action, right? So you have that move, big move, and then you're kind of taking a little pause, little baby candle, and then we swoop to the upside.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, it's right here.
Oh, that's
fantastic. Or to the downside if it's the bearish Harami. So it's kind of like taking a little pause, a little bit of a moment to breathe, and then we swoop back up. I like it.
Okay. Yeah. Oscar asks, in 5-minute candles, or does it matter? Look, this is one thing Adira and I have been talking about since we started doing how to trade. Everything that we're talking about here, unless we say otherwise, is fractal, meaning that it can be used on any time frame in which you choose to use it on. However, one thing you need to realize, the lower the time frame you come from, so if you started at an hour and you go down to a minute, the higher the failure rate for everything, whether it's moving averages, whether it's candlestick patterns, chart patterns, you name it, the lower you go down on your time frame, it still works, but the failure rate increases, okay? I hope that helps. And so we can go on to the next pattern, which is Marubozu, all right? Again, I didn't make up these names, but the term Marubozu, and I actually had to Google how to pronounce this because I didn't want to get, I didn't want to, you know, say it wrong. They are Japanese Chilean nightmare. He asked me if they're Japanese in origin. Yes, they are. Candlestick patterns are, candlesticks themselves are of Japanese origin. So the term Marubozu means bald head or shaved head in Japanese. The Marubozu pattern is a candlestick with a long body with no shadows. Case in point, okay? It can either be bullish or bearish depending on its color, and it is most accurate in trend continuations after a pullback. So in this case, we see a bullish Marubozu pattern here. Say that again. I don't know what that, oh, F11 like that? Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. Is that better? Yes. Cool. All right. So we see a downtrend here, right? But what preceded this downtrend was likely an uptrend. So this is what we would call a pullback, and this is where it's most accurate, all right? Even though we see it's preceded by 3 red candles, what preceded these 3 red candles was likely to be a bullish pattern to the upside, okay? So a bullish Marubozu is a long green candlestick with no upper or lower shadows. This candlestick indicates that buyers controlled the market or controlled the candlestick, the price action for that particular candlestick from the open to the close, suggesting a strong bullish sentiment. And then what you want to see subsequent to it, obviously, is a new green candle to make a high and a continuation of the uptrend. So again, this short-term downtrend over here typically is a pullback. What preceded this short-term downtrend was likely an uptrend. The exact opposite is accurate for the bearish Marubozu pattern. So in this bearish Marubozu pattern is the opposite, obviously, of the bullish one. The candlestick has a long red body with no upper or lower shadows, indicating that the price opened at its high and closed at its low. This suggests that bears were in complete control of the market during that particular candle, and that selling pressure remained strong throughout the session. So that's what we're looking for here. And typically, what will precede this uptrend in the bearish Marubozu pattern is actually a downtrend. So this would be a relief bounce, or a retracement to the high side. All right, that's what we're looking for there. So those are the Marubozu patterns. Any questions, Adira?
Yeah, I think kind of one thing I will comment on here that I think is interesting with regards to what we've kind of seen all week is all of these candles where you have, especially in a reversal, where there's no wicks, it's just the entire body. I think usually really strong side of reversal because we didn't even waffle. There was no waffling. We opened here, we closed there, and that the entire movement is eaten up by this candle. And I can understand too how, because you're talking about these patterns being fractal on a wider time frame, like a daily, if you see a candle like that, oh my gosh. So I think it shows like really to the extent that this lack of wicks can be a huge sign of movement, and then B, how important they can be, or like I guess the increased importance on wider time frames.
I agree completely with that. Thank you. Well said, Dara. All right, the last but not least, the tweezer top and bottom patterns. All right, the tweezer pattern is a short-term reversal pattern, and it forms when two candlestick bodies have the same highs in an uptrend or the lows in a downtrend. You can see that characterized over here. So we're pumping up, and then we have equal highs on this green and red candle over here, okay? So in an uptrend, you will have two candlestick bodies with the same highs, and in a downtrend, you will have two candlestick bodies there with the same lows. This pattern indicates a struggle between buyers and sellers and can suggest a potential trend reversal. In a downtrend, okay? In a downtrend, the pattern is called the tweezer bottom. This one over here on the right, that's the downtrend. And it requires two consecutive candlestick bodies of either color, guys. So these could be two green ones, or one red, one green, or two red. It doesn't matter, all right? So it requires two consecutive candlestick bodies of either color to reach the same low point, which we are characterized by over here. This formation indicates that buyers are entering the market as they were able to push the price back up from the low reached by the first candlestick. So that's the low over here. And then it opens up at that same price, and then we move up. So it wasn't able to break that key support level. And then what you want to see subsequent to that, obviously, is another candle to make another high. All right? So that is the look there. When the market is in an uptrend, traders refer to the pattern as a tweezer top, which is on the left side over here, okay? And it requires two consecutive candlesticks to have the same highs to be considered valid. Again, they can be of either color. This pattern signals a shift in market momentum and a potential trend reversal as bears begin to take control of the market. And then obviously what you want to see subsequent to this candle over here is another red candle to make a new low. And then the pushing back down of that pattern. So that is the tweezer top and bottom. Adara.
Yeah, I think this one's a little bit clearer than some of them too, because you can really see the resistance or where the support is, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, hey, this level, for whatever reason, right? Also, I really want to shout out this comment from Frank Jones.
Frank Jones.
Yeah, shout out always to Mike Jones here. But yeah, Frank Jones saying, which I really appreciate, when you look at a candlestick, try to envision what's happening in the market. Once you get it down so you understand it at a glass, it'll really help your trading at all levels. Thank you so much to Frank Jones, who's had a lot of interesting commentary on these candlesticks all week. Sean also chiming in, Frank Jones. But yeah, so I really appreciate what you have to say, though. And I think it also, something that Obi said while he was on the midday a couple weeks ago that I really appreciated as well, where it's like, sometimes you kind of have to look at the market like a story that it's trying to tell you, right? Like what story you're trying to tell with this trade. And I think too, like I guess that's part of candlestick analysis as well, understanding what's it saying, what are the wicks saying, what did the lack of wicks saying, what is this bottom telling me,
1000%
especially on different time frames. So thank you very much for Frank Jones for that wonderful analysis. I really, appreciated that.
I definitely agree with that. The candlestick and like the chart patterns are telling you a story. Like when we continuously see higher lows in a flat top breakout or an ascending wedge, what is that telling us? That means on every retracement, buyers are saying, no, you don't. We're pulling you right back up. And every single time it dips down, it's incrementally getting higher and higher. That tells you that buyers are more bullish than bears are bearish at that particular instance. It is telling you a story. I couldn't agree more with that characterization. Shout out to Frank Jones.
Frank Jones.
All right, we are done the lesson for now. We'll get back to that in about, after Neil does Real Deal. For now, we're going to trade up a storm. So if you guys are looking at something, throw it in the chat. I do see Tesla basing out at 185. And oh, baby, I have received a plethora of messages from Alfred today. I haven't been able to respond to him though. He's been giving me his opinion about what he thinks. Well, this is what he says, Katina, man. He's Say that again? Yeah, he's buying too. The Katina man is like, I want to buy more here. What's Alfred saying? So here's what he says. It's the guidance this time. It's basically a bearish look into the market for 2024. We are 2024 expected deliveries in this economic environment. He's looking for the scaling of the Model 2. He thinks possibly, even though they probably won't be able to deliver Optimus with any significant numbers, he thinks at least a few deliveries of Optimus will get the juices flowing for possible bots AI, and then who knows what else comes from that. So yeah, he's not really saying too much at this time, but we'll continue to watch. Yeah, we'll continue to watch and see what the next few days bring for Tesla. But at the moment here, Adara, 185. Flat bottom at the moment, couldn't break through that. And, not really pumping here, but 186 and change, so $1 off the bottom.
Nice, yeah, it's certainly holding very well. Also, we do have a super chat from Ollie. $2 super chat, first super chat. Thank you so much, Ollie. Would you please look into RVSN? Thank you. You are welcome, and thank you for your super chat. Also, a couple people here, Nimit also mentioning RVSN. So perfect time to talk about Rail Vision. This name I feel like I've been bringing up every other day lately for that small cap recap. Not today, but I did bring it up on the big desk because this one has been moving like mad. I think right now the main thing is we don't want to diagnose patterns before they come to their full fruition. However, this to me looks a little bit like it could be a bull flag, and I say that because we had this massive move up to the upside right off that open too, that 5.1 to about 790. So that gives you a good almost $3 of movement here. Let's say like $2.70 of movement, and we know we have to look at the flagpole because then that can help us measure what the breakout could be. Yes. Should we break from these levels? I know small caps do kind of tend to do what they want to do, so who knows if this will actually come to fruition, but I do think from that breakout, based on this flagpole measurement, that would give you about $2.70, and I think with RVSN too, this one has run before, which I know is one of your big criteria for those small caps. We very much have surpassed that previous high. Yeah. We're dancing around VWAP. That's the one thing. We're not quite above VWAP. I guess right now we're above VWAP, just barely. We're very much dancing around VWAP, but I do like these this steady uptrend from that flag kind of pattern that we have forming. And if we look at the daily, we did have this massive pop to the upside for this name on Tuesday as well. We have a catalyst on this one coming out of Europe. I'm going to get the exact wording of said catalyst because we like to be thorough here on how to trade. It will not load, but I know it was something about European approval there. So yeah, I mean, if it loads, I will pull up that Real Vision catalyst.
What's the ticker? I can look for you.
RVSN.
Oh yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
You're looking for the catalyst
yes,
from
I am.
A couple of days ago. Here it is. It's called Rail Vision, right? Rail Vision receives order from leading U.S.-based rail contractor. Okay. That's $5 million. Oh, that's yesterday's. Is that it? $5 million.
I saw one for Europe for today, but
Europe.
I don't.
Okay, let me have a look. I don't see anything for, or do I? Here it is. Yes, you're right, Adara. Foresight's affiliate Rail Vision mainline system secures EU railway standards approval and certification. So that's second day catalyst for that bad boy. So 2 catalysts there. You're bang on with that. Did you know that this one halted this morning?
I did, yeah. I saw it at the big desk. I was like, huh? Yeah,
so there's the halt right here on RVSN. Was halted twice to the upside. Look. This is doing that same thing that EVAX did yesterday. A big move up and then a straddling of VWAP. Remember that trade we took yesterday? VWAP hold, high of daybreak on EVAX. Same look today on RVSN. It's doing that straddle dance with VWAP, a little bit above, a little bit below. The technique for the VWAP hold, high of daybreak, is to accumulate a position near VWAP. Now this one, yesterday EVAX never broke VWAP to the downside. It held it from the top side, so I'd say that was a bit more of a bullish pattern. In this particular case on RVSN, you're getting a little bit above VWAP, a little bit below. So, I would say typically build your position at VWAP, but this one's giving you opportunities south of VWAP, $7, $6.90. 680s here at the low. I'm talking about this area over here, this consolidation bottom. So if you're able to, maybe build your position in the high sixes, 690, high 680s. No reason to, have to only build at 710, 713, which is where VWAP is on my chart. Now, like with everything else, this thing makes a new low, you get out, especially on a small cap gapper like RVSN. This is not a big cap. You know what I mean? You're not going to have hedge funds and whoever and Uncle Warren coming to buy this at 195, right? This is a small cap gapper. It's here today. It's not here tomorrow. And so you need to really just come to grips with that and understand you shouldn't really be holding this if it breaks a key level. So this one, interesting for VWAP hold high of daybreak. I do like it. The other one, because we didn't talk too much about small caps today, Dara, PCSA. Let's talk about the details of this bad boy because it's the first time around we're going to talk about its details. 18.8 million share float, not big, not small, not micro, it's small. It's not micro though. Let's find out about its short float. Shout out to the NOS boss and his boys over there. Huge short float on PCSA. 47.6% of the float, Adara, is short on PCSA. Essentially almost half the float is short according to Trade Ideas. I don't know how accurate that is because this is showing me a float of sub 1 million. It's showing me a 931,000 share float while my program up here is showing me 18.788 million. So I have to be a little bit concerned about what it's telling me with respect to short float. But nonetheless, even if it is, even if this number was adjusted, it's probably a little bit up there. In any event, we know that there's likely to be a bigger short float on PCSA, which makes for a more volatile stock. Now, this one's doing the same thing, Adara. It really kind of has been holding VWAP quite tightly, whether it was here at 930 off the bell, it just dipped slightly below VWAP here at 945. All the dips held at VWAP. And again, over here at 11, right when we started the show, this one dipped into that 4.5 and was able to hold VWAP. My only concern is the series of lower highs that we're putting in on this bad boy over here. But we do have some support at VWAP in that 4.5 level. So we'll have to wait to see what PCSA gives us. And the one that you put on the watch list this morning, last but certainly not least, LVTX. Let's talk about the details about that one. LVTX is Lava Therapeutics, $55 million market cap, 18.7 million share float. Again, wow, isn't that a little bit odd? Yeah, like the other one, right? Let's find out what the short float is. LVTX. It's negligible. Less than 1% of the float is shorted according to Trade Ideas, so not the same setup there. It's also now broken down below VWAP, so now it's on my S list, right? South of 2.25, that's where VWAP is. This one was good to go initially. I mean, look at that pre-market high break, right? You had that top there at 830, but the bell rung and we haven't been able to break through the pre-market high of around that 2.75. So it doesn't make it onto my my short list of good stocks there. But there goes RVSN to the high side, guys, holding that VWAP right now and definitely breaking through these tops over here. Keep an eye out, though, at 770. That seems to be a bit of a top on RVSN, Adara.
Yeah, no, I think certainly RVSN, always one to watch. Yeah, that Lava one, Lava Therapeutics was on the watch list. Thank you for Bears versus Bulls shouting that one out. Woo. Much appreciated. Always have fun kind of getting a nice little taste of the stock market by looking at it in the morning and seeing what it has to offer. And it's interesting too because we've had this conversation. Sometimes those small cap runners in the morning are not going to be the same ones you see running later, but sometimes also they are, right? So
yes,
it's always, like I said, I'd love to, if I ever have some time on a weekend, some kind of analysis of the percentage of the small caps that go on the watch list that actually end up running in the day.
Yeah.
So I always find that interesting. Also, I have to address this meta trade.
Go for it.
I'm just gonna shrug. Basically, I'm staying in this because we have not broken that new low, that 393, like 30-ish area. Why I got in the first place, because I do feel like I need to explain that. I got in because you and I were talking about that 395 break. I liked the compression. I thought it was going to be having a nice cool to the upside. I actually reloaded here at 394 because we held that area really well. Now we're kind of struggling, but we do have this consistent 393.30, 393.40 bounce. So that has kept me kept me in this name for now, but it looks like we might be dipping a little bit lower. I may have to consider an exit here.
What's your plan?
My plan is, I mean, right now we keep bouncing at this. I was going to get out of that 393.30, but we keep bouncing off of it, so I'm staying on this for now. In terms of profit takers, the initial plan when I first got in was because I thought we were going to kind of continue waffling before that 395 break. I was just going to take pieces and keep reloading as we went up and down, but it looks like I will now have to exit Meta, slide out of its DMs because this trade has not really worked how I thought it was going to. Also, still watching BlackBerry, kind of doing a similar thing here, just watching and waiting for these higher highs, higher lows. I'm still intrigued, but I'm not going to enter quite this second. Also, we did have a super chat that I did not get to read. Easy for all shoppers, $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Candlestick patterns is like a love story been told, LOL. Yeah, I mean, like we said, I think candlestick patterns can certainly tell you a lot about the market.
Agree.
And give you a really good sense, especially if, as Frank Jones was saying, you know, like the more you spend time looking at them, the better sense you get of the market and what they mean. So I really do appreciate that. Also, CPH Vapors Inc. saying Sharif has the same voice as Drake. And I just thought it could be the Canadian accent, like the Toronto accent. I don't know, but I just saw that and was like, I would like to mention that.
Yeah, he lives like 5 minutes from where I live.
Yeah, because I know you guys are around the same area. Yeah, but I know, So shout out to Drake.
His house is much, 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 much larger
his house
than my condo.
Insane.
It is probably as big as my entire condo, his house. His house is huge. Have you ever seen it up front?
I think someone did drive me by there once.
Say that again, Justin? Justin used to do the landscaping. Justin's one of the traders back here. He used to do the landscaping near his house while it was being built. It's called the Embassy, guys. He calls his house
it was called the Embassy.
And if you drive by there on a Friday or Saturday night, it's like a nightclub. He's got security at the front gate. There's a whole bunch of people coming in and out when he's in town, obviously, right? A whole bunch of people coming in and out. It's like a straight up club. I have a buddy who actually got invited to his house, one of my personal trainer buddies, who helped out one of his friends, and he's like, the inside of the house is just unreal.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Yeah, well, he spent a lot of money. He pissed off his neighbors to no end. He wanted a helipad, and they're like, nah. You're not getting no helipad, bro. We're not listening to your helicopter wake us at all times of the night. Guys, RVSN popped up big boy into $8.15, but the Huadunk came in. It came in fast and it came in furious, but look at that, right back off. So this one topped out at 8.15, shot down immediately in one 1 minute candle, back down into 740, and right back up we go from 740 to $8. Guys, make sure if you're going to trade these small cap gappers, especially the ones with a high short float, you have to have a plan. You have to be able to manage risk. Otherwise, you know what could happen. So be careful with this one. Up 50%. It's a multi-day runner. It's got a lot of the check marks beside its name. It's a good stock to trade if you're into small cappers. But just a little sample of its volatility right there. And you didn't really need this sample. You already knew. Look at this tanking over here off the halt at around, what time was that? 9:45, 9:50 or so. Absolutely tanked right back down. So, all right, let's have a look at some. I haven't gotten a trade yet, and I do apologize, guys. I haven't seen anything really to my liking quite yet. There are some names that we can just highlight here for strength and weakness. Right off the bat, Google, shout out to the OB, the one, the Canope. Google is up 2 3/4. And I saw this one off the bell. It just rocketed up. Even when the market was doing the dance with no pants with 17.7, Google continued to print higher highs and higher lows. Look at Google and how it's been holding that 10-period moving average like a glove. Shout out to Obi who mentioned that magnetic effect thing. I think that's really apropos. What he means by that is, look at the price action and how it's jiving with a particular moving average. In this case, the 10 moving average, which is the green line on my chart, seems to be like a magnet for Google. Anytime the price comes down there, right back up you go. And it seems to be these green candles, these huge green candles, relatively speaking, obviously, that are most attracted to that 10-period moving average. Every time we get around there, it seems to be bouncing up quite aggressively. Right now, we're doing the dance at 153, 152.99, the high of day right now on Google. Is this all-time highs? Let me go here. So this is, okay, we're going to remove pivots. Don't forget that Google did split about a couple of years ago. It is. This is all-time high, says Katina Man confirmed it. All-time highs on Google At least, yeah, definitely.
150, 175.
Exactly, 151.75. That was the previous all-time high. Today we have a 153 touch for all intents and purposes, 152.99. So all-time highs on Google, and obviously that should raise some awareness. Now I was listening to the Compound, and there was really interesting data off that podcast today that the likelihood of us going to all-time lows from all-time highs is in the low single digits. What's more likely is that you continuously see newer all-time highs once you make an all-time high. And that's like in over 50 some odd % likelihood that you are likely to print a newer all-time high after making a recent all-time high. That's just food for thought, because instinctively, I like to get things on a downtrend, right? Like on a bigger uptrend, but like a pullback. That's what I kind of mean. But that may not be the best strategy according to the data. The data says when you're at all-time highs, that's when you should be buying. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule for everything. It's not financial advice, obviously, but that is what it is. All right, Adira, in addition to Google, Apple today also quite strong. Yesterday, it definitely rejected off that 196.25, which happened to be resistance level 1 on pivots. Today, it is a smidge below that 196 as well. So we're stair-stepping up here on AAPL, possibly to make a new high from yesterday. We're still an inside day technically, right? We haven't broken through yesterday's high. I would say the high is at 196.33, 196.25 area. We'll have to see whether AAPL can continue to print to the high side. Amazon also awfully strong right now. It's also trending aggressively to to resistance level 1 on pivots there.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to, my Benzing, I'm having a few issues here just finding the news stories here, but I'm trying to find something on Uber. Manuel Palma was asking me if there's anything. I'm not seeing anything. I Googled it, could not find anything. Are you seeing anything on Uber?
Uber, sure, let me have a look.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Just give us a moment here,
Absolutely.
but really strong on the day. Massive move to the upside. Scotia of a double bottom here at that 60. Oh, nothing?
No, nothing.
Okay, so nothing that we're seeing on Uber, but we will keep our eye out. Scotia of a double bottom here at that 63.80, and then Uber flew to the upside. Also now moving to the upside, of course, after I leave the long, is this Meta. I might get back involved in this if we see a bit of a bottom at that 393.30. Basically, I got out because we did kind of break below that 393.30. Now it looks like we want to get back there. We're still holding. This is definitely an area of interest. I don't want to be too hasty in getting involved here. Shout out to the Spice Girls, because I just, I clearly, that reloading was a bit of a mistake earlier in Meta, so I think we want to be very cautious here. If we can hold that 393 steadily, I would definitely be intrigued. Zion Lala asking if Amazon is trading, if OB is trading Amazon today. I am unsure, but yeah, Amazon is a really good look here. So shout out to Obi if he is trading that, because the people want to know.
Obi, are you trading Amazon? Nope.
Oh, no, he is not trading Amazon. But yeah, Amazon, yeah, really, I would agree. Very nice look to the upside here. Nice, solid trend line with a lot of these NQ names, with the exception of Tesla. Continuing to the upside, really nice look here. Higher highs, higher lows. Good look on Amazon, climbing the vines up to that 1% area. So nice look there. I'm still eyeing BlackBerry. I'm still looking at this one here, I have to say. But this lack of a higher high makes me a little bit nervous here. We did have this 1120 lower high, so curiouser. Much like you, Sharif, I'm kind of struggling to find the perfect trade at the moment. But I think you made the right call not getting involved in Meta, because as someone who did get involved in Meta, it was a sad day.
I want to get in. I was looking at that 395 like a flat top break.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, we were making higher lows in sort of like an ascending wedge, but it was not to be. Maybe we get a hold at VWAP. Let's talk about this Meta look right now. It's up only 0.2%, but guys, we're accumulating right now on Meta. And by accumulating, I mean we're accumulating for a 400 break. We're already at all-time highs on Meta. We know that. That's a fact. Now, much like the next one I'm going to talk about, which is Caterpillar, which broke 300 today, I feel we are accumulating for an eventual 400 pop on META. It's just, what day does it come? Does it come in the pre-market or does it come in the aftermarket? Remember what happened with NVIDIA and 600? It came in the pre-market, it didn't look back, right? So we'll have to wait and see. Right, this is what I'm looking at right here on Meta. right? This 393 hold has been interesting despite the fact that we've been putting in a series of lower highs ever since 10:30. So it's been an hour of lower highs on META with that flat bottom at 393. Just below that, though, we do have the backing of VWAP, which is at 392 and 2/3. So if you were to get in at the whole dollar at 393, you could put your stop a smidge below VWAP. I would say a little bit below the half dollar at 392 high 40s. So Meta might be a trade that I'm interested in today, but I hate this compulsion of wanting to buy something on a pullback because that's not always the best thing. Look at Apple. It's about to break 196. I mean, I could have punched long 195.50 on Apple and been $50 in the money, especially as it danced with resistance level 1. We know resistance level 1 was important. It got a rejection here and it got 3 rejections over here. So it is factoring in. And look at the pivots. Pivots are absolutely holding today on Apple. So there was a lot of opportunities to buy things at their high. And I hate that part of me that just can't seem to want to pull the trigger at the highs, but that's my problem, not yours. So, well, yeah, no, that's what it is, honestly. So we'll keep watching right now. Maybe we'll get into a small capper. I am watching RVSN as well. It didn't give up the ghost in the way that I thought it was going to give up the ghost. Still near the highs, a little bit below 8. So this one could absolutely squeeze through 8. Already had a bit of a precursor. They were breaking through 8, going up to about 8 1/5. Right now, kind of a little bit below that. Maybe some dip at 750 over here to hold that support. That's exactly what I'm going to do at this level. So I'm going to go ahead and say 755 buy. We'll see we can get it right at this support level over here. Yeah, make sure to check out the Katina Man today after the bell. What earnings do we have?
We have Intel and we have Colgate-Palmolive tomorrow. I know that, but we also have Visa tonight, and we also have American Express tomorrow morning. Okay. But in terms of tonight, with Sean, you will be seeing with the Katina Man, you will be seeing Intel and you will be seeing Visa. And probably some other ones, but those are, I think, those are the big kahunas of earnings tonight.
All right, beauty. We are in the midst of earnings season, of course, so make sure to be checking out the Market Recap Show every day because especially next week when we have like the 5 of the Mag 7 names reporting. So shout out to the Katina Man on that. All right, let's get to Caterpillar because I said I would talk about that one. And look, I was talking to Brendo about this. I was talking to Neil about this not that long ago. I said, guys, Caterpillar looks like it's accumulating for a 300 break, and that's exactly what it did. I mean, we were dancing with 300 earlier in the summer. We rejected. This is where we tanked to 225. Analysts were yelling, oh, we're going back to 200. We're going back to 200. I'm like, all right, bro. And then we rocketed back up into 300 over here. Look at this flat top over here at 300. So we got a touch December 20th. We got multiple touches over here, early Jan, and then we got the decisive break. But look, guys, it's a wick above 300. We haven't closed above 300. So this celebration that I'm in at the moment might be premature. We need to close above that level for the level to be valid, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see where Caterpillar ends up at the close today. But awfully good look if we can break through 300 and hold above 300 again. All-time highs for Caterpillar as, yeah, what an accumulation in front of 300 that was. So we'll have to wait and see there. All right, people yelling about Meta breaking apparently. So let's have a look at Meta. Yes, there it is. So we got that breakdown on META here through 393 Adara, and we are on our way. We're actually touching VWAP right now at 362 and 2/3. Let's see what happens here. Do we hold this level or not?
Yeah, Meta's been really interesting. Very happy I didn't because I was tempted to get back in that long because I was kicking myself. I got out and I was like, actually, we're kind of holding that 393.30. Very happy I got out where I did. I think you're right though. I think VWAP will be very much an interesting level with Meta because it also coincides with these earlier pops into that 392.50, 392.60, right? So that could certainly be a key area. Also, apparently RVSN making a new high. Also, thank you so much. Someone was saying T-Mobile, lethargic, reminding me also TMUS also tonight. So thank you for adding that one. Another one that Sean will be having an eye on.
And that's been stealing subscribers left, right, and center from Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been just taking their money. So a lot of subscriber growth. So that's what I'm going to be looking at there, what their subs increase year over year on the quarter is.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up too, because if that's significant, or if it's insignificant, I think that would be notable, especially because we are expecting a big amount of growth there. Also, Thomas mentioning my Microsoft short. Thank you very much. We'll see if this works. I got involved in this because we failed this 405.90 area a couple times, and this was, or not a couple times, we failed it here, but this was an area from whence we pushed to the upside earlier. So I was like, I think this failure is pretty significant. I am getting out. I'm leaving the trade with a loss. The trade's no longer valid, I guess, to put it in that terms, because I think it's a really good way of putting it, as Sharif says. If we have that break above that 406.25, 406.30, that would be not a newer high, I guess, but it would definitely be back into those consolidation areas. So I would have to say au revoir. Decisive break out of that area, I am saying goodbye. But I would like to take some profit should we continue to go lower here at this 405.40 area, because that was where he had a little bit of consolidation and chop and churn earlier. Then I'm looking for more profit taking around that just shy of 404, that 404.20 area, because I do like where we had that consolidation. So we're gonna have to see. Right now that this break back into 406 makes me a little bit nervous, but we're heading back below it, so we're just gonna kind of try to stay patient here. I am working on packing my patience, because that is not a strength of mine, but packing your patience is very important, as you say. Also, I like this Apple trade.
Okay, so I'm literally gonna give this like 4 pennies, okay? I just wanna see if we get a rejection off 196. That's all I'm doing here. I'm not trying to take a counter trend trade. It's gonna be an absolute scalp. I'm gonna give this 3 or 4 pennies. If it breaks 196 to the high side by like any, more than 5 pennies, I keep saying 3 or 4, it keeps increasing to 5 or 6 pennies. Who knows how much I'm gonna end up giving this, but the idea here is to take a quick scalp off a whole dollar rejection. If it materializes, great. If it doesn't, we'll stop out for a few penny loss. On Apple, up 0.75% on the day. It has been a strong name off the bottom there. Higher lows, higher highs, as you can see here. Just looking for a possible rejection off 196, and then maybe an eventual break later, because you got to balance the long-term account with the intraday trading. So I don't want this one to retrace too much now. There is some size here. It's not a gargantuan amount of size at 196, and we just blew through it. Are we going to hit 5s? I'll just stop out right away if we hit 5s there. If I see 5 on the tape, I'm seeing 3s and 4s, 3s and 4s. Let's see if we can see some 5s here. If we do, we will get out of this day. A lot of mid prints here coming in yellow. Okay, let's see what Apple is going to do. And there I see 5s coming up, so we'll just stop out of that one real quick there. The market is 3 points off the high, 17,738. We're at 17,734. So maybe not a wise trade at the moment. It was a tiny loss, right? Apple new high a day, continuing to pump here. Google as well, Amazon as well. Nvidia, no, not really. I guess taking a day off today. Nvidia kind of right there at that 624 level. Not much else to say for me. I mean, I don't have any trades. This RVSN trade, obviously, I'm not involved in that. I have my dip trade set up here at 755. This is probably an invalid level now that it's broken through 8 and then some. So 8 now becomes the possible support level here on RVSN. What a day for some of these Mag 7 names. Go Apple, go.
Yeah, go Apple, go indeed. Parabolic FOMO. FOMO rip, I think. Dip rip, FOMO dip rip. I really like that name here. Is Apple on track to form a daily giant Shrek candle? I guess it was with that move, big green move to the upside, I suppose. But I like the wording of that. Yeah, I'm still in this micro short on Microsoft. I really want to watch here if we do get to that 406.20, what we do. If I do see this lower high, if I see like, hey, we might push down here, I might do a skosh of a reload, but I really need to see what we do here. If we have a decisive break above that 406.20, 406.30 area, and by that I mean like decisive, nice higher candle, I'm going to have to say au revoir, because we are pushing into that area where we're getting a skosh dicey here on Microsoft, but I still do like these lower highs. I like that we did have, at least at one point, that failure of that 406-esque bottom, so we're going to have to see what is happening there. Okay, now okay. Oh, wow. Microsoft, why are you doing this to me? Okay, so Microsoft is getting extremely dicey here. I may have to exit. Also, a couple of mentions of PayPal. Shaggy937 thanking the sticky note for PayPal. So shout out to Sean and his sticky note nation. A whole country of sticky note people. But also, I like this PayPal. I worded that really poorly, but yeah, go sticky note.
Adara, AMD just jumped up $1 in 2 1-minute. AMD's flying. Something's going on with AMD, guys. AMD's ripping into 185. Oh my goodness, what is happening with AMD over here? A lot of strength in this name. It just rejected 185, but it shot up there from in 3 1-minute candles. It went from 183.50 to 185. That's quite unusual for AMD. Do I see anything here? UBS raises target on AMD from 135 to 220. That just came in right now. It came in at 11:04. Let me just make sure that it didn't come in earlier. No, that came in earlier. That was 8:15, so that's old. AMD trades, UBS trades higher. Yeah, that came in a little bit earlier. That was 8:15, so that's a delayed entry on my blotter. Yeah, nothing really here to explain this midday pump in AMD, but wow, what a strong name that was. Wow, 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 wow. Into 185. Market's at high 17.7, 48 3/4. Essentially at that 50-point level is the NQ, and everything continues to run. It has been a very green week on the market today. My goodness. And there is the NQ right there at that 50-point level. I still don't have a trade on, but what can I say? I mean, don't see anything right now. Looks like, oh, Meta's there. Meta held VWAP. Okay.
You called it on Meta.
Yeah, Meta held VWAP real well here. And so that's another missed trade for me. 392 and 2/3. It holds VWAP to the T. And right there, 394. Yeah, 394 and 1/3. So almost $2 there off that VWAP bounce there.
Yeah, no, I think certainly it's been a really crazy day to trade. I have to say this is one of my harder days in a while for trading. We did have this loss on Meta, and then we did just take a micro loss in Microsoft. It wasn't even micro, I had to run it. But basically, yeah, I think that the issue is we kind of broke above that area of interest. Clearly, I really like this consolidation here. I thought we were going to continue rejecting. We did not, and that's okay. Well, as Obi says, where's the next trade? I'm going to focus on that. I'm trying not to get too down on myself, and to quote 21 Savage, who had a new album and a new movie coming out soon, trying to take less L's and make more M's, you know?
Yeah.
Or paper M's, as it were, because I am still in the sim and very grateful to be learning a little bit every day, at least I hope. Rob EV, very apt name given what he has to say here in the chat. Tesla having another go at breaking 185. Could we see a flat bottom break? Well,
that'd be nice. That'd be real nice there.
I like this. I do totally see what you mean, because we had that little swoop to the downside off of that swoop. Swoop, there it isn't, maybe for Tesla. We'll have to see if we break below that 185. I see what you mean. It looks like we're really knocking at that door to the downside.
That'd be nice.
That would be a nice little short. It would also be great for Sticky Note Nation as well, because I know Sean is in that Tesla short, I believe.
Oh, let's try it.
This has been, yeah, quite the look here. Also, B. Davis saying, let's go AMD. I need the pump it animation. It has to be your voice in a cartoon of you lifting weights. Who's in charge of that? LOL. That's for you, I guess. So I said pump it. Out of turn there.
No,
but yeah,
you're entitled to say pump it anytime you want.
We all share phrases over here.
Yes.
That's what we do here at
You need to
TV.
practice your pump it.
Pump it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're short Tesla. Look, this is making lower lows. We're looking for a beak wetter there in front of that 185 level. Let's see if we get that print. Tesla making its way back down into that 185 territory. Katina, man, how much size did you see at that 185 last time? About 200,000 shares, the Katina Man says, right at that 185 level. So you're going to need big boy money to bring that down. We already got a beak wetter there at 185.10. Let's see if we can continue to dump on TSLA. There we go, right back into that 185.10s. We're going to take a little bit more off if we hit single digits. And I'm looking at that 10 penny level, and we're holding it, not by all that much. So we'll keep watching here as TSLA continues to trade near day's lows. Exactly the low of day, guys, is that 185 level on the dot. So Tesla giving back a lot. And, you know, maybe Kramer was going to be right about this one. I mean, he's not right a lot, but he wanted to take Tesla out of the Mag 7 and call him the Super 6 and to put Adara's favorite stock instead there, Eli Lilly. Right, so we'll have to, and I looked at the Katina Man today, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this Lilly whole thing. I mean, these GLPs could be absolute bupkis, and in 2 years we hear that, you know, they're really bad for you, this, that, and the other, and and profits could dwindle. So I don't know how exactly I feel about, here we go, guys. We're at 185 again. Lots of size there. Now we're coming closer into 185 level. You can see the size show up, and then the volatility now is picking up big on Tesla. Just shot back up to the $0.25. So volatility ample here on TSLA as we come close to that flat bottom break possibly.
Yeah, speaking of Kramer not always being wrong, he also was talking about Caterpillar yesterday, saying that's one of the strongest stocks going into 2024. But it just made new all-time highs, right? So I'm saying maybe he's 2024 is like his New Year's resolution was to like have, I don't know, maybe a slightly more accurate take. Who knows? Because that did happen for Caterpillar, and then it made its new all-time high.
Right.
But yeah, very hungry Caterpillar today for that stock. Let me tell you, eating up sellers to the upside there. Yep. Also, Meta. I'm trying to go short Meta. We failed that 394 with a viciousness. I saw that book. I did another thing. I have an issue with setting my points of entry at inopportune places. My big interest was trying to get in at the 393. 185 Tesla.
Yeah, guys, big size. A lot of action here. Sorry, I just got to interrupt you because this is an important level. What do we get? All right, so we get a hold again of 185, but we did get a little bit of a glimpse there about the bearishness of Tesla at that 185 level, Adara. I hate to interrupt you, but you know, a lot of people probably watching this name at the moment as the market does reject that 17,750. So will that have a bearish effect on TSLA? So far holding 185, but for how long, Adara?
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy move there on Tesla. I also fat-fingered my way into and out of a Meta long while we were talking because I meant to press short. I did press long. I want to watch, again, I want to see if we have this rejection of that 393.
There it goes, Adara. Wow, there goes Tesla. Let's take that out for 184 forward. Wow, what a move down on TSLA as it rejects that 185 or gives up the 185 level. 184.35 is the low of the day. Does it stay below here? A lot of volatility on this name. Sorry to interrupt and yell, but it's exciting.
It's okay. Felicitas Young, congratulations on that trade. That is a beautiful short. Swoop to the downside. Bears versus Bulls saying quadunk or huadunk. I can't say it quite properly, but yeah, very much a move to the downside there. Some mentions of PayPal. I did look at PayPal earlier. Let's look at PayPal again. Also, I'm so sad I couldn't get that Meta short. Ignore this accidental Meta long. This was a fat finger trade, if there ever was one. And yeah, PayPal. I like PayPal here. Look at this sort of double top. I might actually go short PayPal. Although, you know, I do feel a little, because I would be going against the Sticky Note Nation. Because I know this time, did that with Disney earlier this week, I was not aware. This time I am aware. But I do think that this double top could be interesting. I would be interested in taking some profits. Actually, Kate, the more I talk, I'm going to stop talking about this. I'm just going to get involved in this short. Hey. Because sometimes you just have to do that. So there we go.
Way to be decisive.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this, because I like this, well, we were talking about candle patterns. Look at this big, sort of that evening star move here. We have that little body and then the big swoop to the upside. I think if we break out of this, so if you see that 64 break, sayonara or au revoir, profit takers for PayPal. I like this 63.50 for some of it. Why? Consolidation pre-market. Then we had that move up and a nice rejection. Then I want to take the rest of my profit out around that 63.1 because that where we had another area here. So we're going to see how this goes. I do like this move, even depending on what we do at 64 if we have a rejection. I'm trying to practice reloading and getting more comfortable being in trades for longer. So we'll have to see what I do here. I might add a skosh of a dash of shares there, just a sprinkle at that 64. But I will be cognizant of the PayPal event at 12:30 today. That being said, just trying to be a little bit more decisive when I see a move, trying to get involved. And I did like this PayPal, so we'll see if PayPal becomes my pal.
Yeah. Look, I talked about PayPal on the big desk with the Brendo today, and you know, Apple has really been eating PayPal's lunch as of late, especially with the introduction of Apple Pay at the checkout. If you use Amazon, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or many other e-commerce sites. You know, whereas you would have checked out with PayPal, now you're checking out with Apple Pay, and I only have to hit double tap the power button on my phone to pay. It's so much easier, quite frankly. And so that's the bad side. The good side is they have quite a few users still in their database that they can monetize. I'm talking about PayPal. So how they choose to kind of reinvent themselves here in the face of competition from Apple, we'll have to wait and see. But it's, they definitely have the foundation there. Just, what can they do with it? All right, let's go back into this Tesla trade here. Now I'm sitting at 184.05 for a beak wetter as we dance back down into that 184.09s, 08s. Some support coming in, unsurprisingly, at that whole $1.84 level. We're awfully close to getting our beak wet right there. We were printing 6s. I'm sitting at 5, so real close to getting filled. But TSLA has not made a newer high in quite some time. And there we go. We get the fill right in front of 184 on TSLA, coming into support level 2, which on my chart is at 183.09. So if you're gonna trust in pivots today, maybe there's another dollar downside into this. Here comes 184. Do we break 184? Size at 184, but not nearly the same size that was showing up at 185. It's getting eaten through here. How do we resolve? For now, we're going to stay above 184. We're giving up dollars at a time, guys. We were just at 185 now. The struggle between buyers and sellers materializing right now. And there it goes again to the downside. Goes Tesla, now down 11.5% on the day. Goodness gracious. What's his name is salivating. We just wet our beak there in the mid-80s. Down we go on the market. Down we go on Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations on that trade. I did get back involved. I want to just, I might regret this. I took teeny tiny scintilla of shares, the smallest share size I can take here on Meta, because we held that 394. Now we're breaking that 394. But I mean, I'm going to go at 393.50 if that fails. Trying to get as close as we can to 395. I know we can do that 394.50, so I'll probably get it in 394.49, sorry, because I know we've discussed sometimes with these mega caps, you have to get your beak wetter slightly below the area you want, especially something as spready as Meta. Also, the PayPal short, nothing to report. No payment being made yet, just a couple cents down. We're taking hopefully a slow descent to the downside here. I liked this double top. I liked this evening star-esque candle, but for now, I'm very excited for the real deal with our pal Neil.
Ayo, we got the real deal here. It's going to be, what is it, earnings season? What's that thing everyone pays attention to 4 times a year that seems like it's always happening? Yeah, you're right, it's earnings season. I want to give you 3 setups that you can look for during earnings season for your trades. Now, obviously, these are volatile events at earnings. You're going to get extra price movement. You can throw out the relative volume out the window. You can probably throw out the regular ranges out the window. So it's all about finding something that works for that new paradigm, which is a little bit of extra volatility. So first things first, it's got to be out with the old and in with the new. And what I mean by that is I want something trading after earnings, ideally in a new price range. So that sets up a consolidation breakout setup. I have a great example of one here with AAPL. So number 1, consolidation breakout. You got to break out from somewhere. That's where it starts. What is the key price level, and is it obvious and determinable? In this particular case, when we come to the daily chart of AAPL, it's not rocket science. I can zoom it out a bit so you can see you were reversing a big downward trend. You're making some higher lows, and going into earnings, you were bouncing and pressing back through the 200 into this resistance at about 1475. So that's your level to break it out. So that's the first thing I want to look for. Okay, do you have a level that can break out? The second thing you want to be able to see is, okay, did we actually give a consolidation into it? Did you go sideways? You don't want to be flying into that level and give a chance for profit takers. Well, were you consolidating into earnings? Last couple of days, answer yes. You had a tight range, actually selling a little bit in those last 2 days. So when the report is dropped, you're falling back into 14 in that nice little tight range underneath that resistance level. And then when they release the report, there's your move up. It actually stops right before the open of the market at that same resistance price. So that is an ideal breakout setup. And the best thing about a breakout setup in a stock that has a chance to trend, because that's what you can do after earnings, is look at that breakout price. Remember we said 1475? Zoom it in here. Breaks out 1475, makes a fresh high 15 1/4. Look at the dip. That's 1480. it dips right back into that previous breakout price. This is why, when in doubt, zoom out. If you're looking for a place to buy dips in an upward trend, have a good look at previous resistance turning into support. And the more significant the resistance was, the better the support might be able to be. So AL is number 1 on the list. Number 2, I want to come out and show you like a day 2 continuation play. So everyone's always interested in, okay, well, what do you do on earnings? You know, there's an example of a breakout trade, but sometimes, like, what do you want to look for on the second day? You want a stock which is going absolutely nuts. ASML was up 10%. Anyone watching the chips knew that this was an absolute rocket ship post earnings. All you see is this thing fly, 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 eagle, fly. This Eagles didn't really fly this year. But this name was super strong in yesterday's trade, and today you got the continuation. Monster gap up, consolidation break. So what am I looking for a continuation play? Well, look at that close. At the end of the day, closed right around the 845 to 850 level. So there is your consolidation. The next day, we're up, we're holding above that price, and then you look at the previous range top. There's your top at 865. It breaks out into it. There's your up move. There's your pullback right into that 85 level, and then your breakout. There's a couple of ways you can play that continuation. Now, you can blindly sort of jump into this thing when it holds that previous high. The other way to play this, which sometimes I'm going to prefer, would be a break of the top with a stop to that previous high for the continuation play. So you're just saying, hey, look, if investors like the earnings enough to go ham long side the day before, why not look for this one to take the stairs up again? Show me confirmation that you've held previous close, that's step 1. Show me confirmation that you've broken previous highs, that's step 2. Show me consolidation above that high. Now you have 3 bullish things that have set up for you on ASML. Market opens, grip it and rip it to the upside. Sometimes it's just as simple as the trend is your friend. For a couple of days after earnings, maybe it's 1, 2, or 3, you're going to get a little bit of extra volatility. So just because the stock was good in day 1, it might not be as good day 2, but you should try to anticipate you're going to get a little extra movement and try to take advantage of that movement by looking for setups on day 2 of earnings. So for everyone that's looking at Tesla tanking as we're taping this today, then understand that day 2 is probably going to provide you with some outsized opportunities. I got another one for you because I mentioned Tesla. And the last one I'm going to use, I was short a lot of EVs today. But one of them that I got out of, and it was because of the setup after the fact, that I'm going to talk about the false break setup. Now remember, both those other 2 trades were going with the earnings move, and they were going with the trend that morning and overnight. So you were continuing that trend. The trend in Tesla, down on the daily chart. The trend at the open was already trading down, gap down, already trading down. So with the trend would be short. That's important because a false breakout in this particular case is going against the grain, right? Like the false breakout at the high of the day in a strong stock is a tricky trade. It can be a good one, but this is a false break up on a stock which is headed down. So it's a bit different from what you're accustomed to when you're thinking about false breaks. So first establish a level. What level is breaking? The answer here was 191, and I'm going to zoom this chart out a little bit so you can get a better idea of why that 191 matters. So you had a trend down on Tesla. This is the October low right at that 191 level. So highlight to that level right away. What happens at the open? You get several tests of that level. Ignore the dark pool wick. I know this move was to 75. I was in it. This move was to 190.75 as well. I was in it. It then broke the 191 in earnest. Got all the way up to 193. So carries the entirety of the pre-market range to that point. It carries higher. Then look at the hammer back underneath. On a 3-minute chart, it completely rejects that. That's almost a $2 wick that you have, a $1.50 wick as it rejects that low. Now, you ask yourself, is it easy to get that short up there? You can layer in. That's one way to get into it. You can try to jam it on the way back down. But I'll give you a second. If you don't get this back underneath the 191, what's the other way to play it? Play trend underneath that resistance level. So there's your false break. The second time it goes there, it tries to get back to the 191, gets to 190.5, and then it trends down. Remember the anatomy of what a false breakout is at its core. There's some people that are looking for Tesla to rebound. There's always buyers in Tesla, or a lot of stocks. When it breaks that 91, there are people thinking that is a relief rally long side. It goes in the money, $2. There's probably people adding, thinking this is a rip your face off rally for Tesla. So not only have you gotten some shorts out of the trade that were holding overnight, that have been trading trend into earnings, you've also got people that have just entered into some long positions as day traders. So you have a lot of pressure on this stock if it ends up breaking lower and continuing lower. That's the value of a false break. You've trapped people in the other way, and you relieved pressure as the stock goes down, because if some shorts have covered, that means less people on the bid as it continues to flush, and it did. And one of the reasons why I can tell you this is I was out of my short. Win's a win, but I was out of my short on the false break, and this is the reason I wanted to point this one out. So a couple of things to consider with this. It's a false break up, but it is with the general direction of both the trend overnight, post-earnings. It's also the daily trend was to the downside on Tesla. So you're going with the grain when you're taking this false breakout to the downside when it comes back under. So the first one, simple consolidation breakout. You saw the example with AAPL there on earnings. You got the day 2 play, gap and go continuation, ASML, perfect example of that. Then you've got a false breakout in the direction of the trend, failing a high when the stock is a short. The reverse of that, of course, would be, hey, if a strong stock that had positive earnings gapped up, you'd look for a false break of the bottom. So there's 3 opportunities for you, 3 things to look out for during earnings seasons, defined setups that you can then find out in the wild and hopefully take them to the bank. So there you go. That's the real deal. Good luck with trading, as always.
Thank you very much, Neil, for that and for covering TSLA, as it is all the hype today. I did not mean for that to rhyme. It was a happy accident. Adara, 183 on the dot is the low day right now on TSLA, and we're doing the dance with no pants with that level right now. As you can see the size there, we bounce off a little bit from that 183 level. I don't know. I mean, 185 didn't hold, 184 didn't hold. Kind of a random level off which to find support, 183. I'm expecting maybe here 180. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if the whole dollar level can hold. If not, we only have one more beak wetter, sadly, on this trade. So we're just gonna let this go, baby. Whether it pops back up into 185.25 where I'm short, or it continues to head down into 180, remains to be seen. But one thing I know is I will not be getting out of this trade right now. Let's, I might even give it right back into like 184.5. See if we can maybe re-up near that 185 flat bottom break that we were dealing with all morning. Here we go again, 183. We're going to start the lesson again in a second, guys, but we're doing that dance here again at the whole dollar level, showing that there is size coming up on 183, but every time we come down to that whole dollar level, the size that's sitting there is a lot smaller than the preceding whole dollar level, 185 being huge, 184 being a little bit smaller, and now 183 smaller than 184 and 185. Here we go again with 183. There is some support coming in here to be expected, but for how long? Do we break? Do we break? We're awfully close. There's a hidden buyer there at 183, you can tell, or there's new orders coming in. It's getting eaten up. Do we break 183? Let's go, baby. Let's happen in real time here before we start the lesson. Again, that size is getting absolutely demolished, and there it goes to the downside. There, I got scared when I slammed the desk. That's funny. Do we stay above? Do we stay below 183? Popping right back above it now. Technically, the low on the day, 182.70. Let's let this one go. We're going to see where it ends up going, then we'll make a decision after. But it is time, Adara, to restart the lesson.
It is.
We are talking, as we have been all week, about candlestick patterns. And I've lost my... why does this always happen to me? One second. Yes, there we go. I always put this on show on all desktops, and then it always ends up disappearing, and now I don't know where it is, so I'm gonna have to load it again. So just allow me one moment here, please. There we go, lesson. All right, excellent. All right, so the first one we're talking about today, guys, is pin bar. All right, the pin bar is a candlestick pattern, all right, obviously. And it is undoubtedly, according to this article or this book, the most traded pattern out there, and for good reason, they say. This pattern is used by traders to identify possible trend reversals or continuations after a pullback. Its accuracy is significantly higher when it forms around key support and resistance levels like trend lines, moving averages, price action, trend lines like whole dollar like we've been dealing with right now on Tesla. The point is, this has a much higher accuracy rate when there is confluence between it and another technical indicator, okay? Which I think goes for most other things, but specifically for this one. Two types of pin bar candlestick patterns. The first one is the bullish pin bar pattern. And this is characterized by a long lower shadow with a small body and a relatively short shadow at the other end. So for the bullish one, we want a long lower shadow, a small body, and a small upper shadow, or wick. You can call it shadows, you can call it wick, call it whatever you want, okay? The tail of the pin bar, or the lower shadow over here, has to be at least 2/3 of the entire length of the candlestick for the pattern to be valid. So what you're looking for is, you're looking over here and you're seeing, is the lower wick over here, the shadow, or whatever, the pin, whatever synonym you want to use, is it 2/3 of the entire length of the bar? So that's one thing you're looking for there. The other thing you're looking for a bullish pin bar, you're looking for it to be preceded by a micro downtrend, but an overall uptrend, okay? So you're gonna see a few red bars prior to it, but before those few red bars, you want the general trend to be to the high side. Now, the bearish pin bar pattern is the opposite of the bullish one. Surprise, surprise. It has a long upper shadow, a small body, and a short lower shadow. This rejection of higher prices signals that the market may be losing momentum and that a bearish reversal may come soon to pass. Once a bearish pin bar is confirmed, traders look for short selling opportunities. So again, much like the bullish pin bar, what you're looking for here is a downtrend, a momentary retracement to the high side, and then the continuation of a downtrend. So you see a few green candles prior to it, and what you want to see after is a new red candle to make a new low, Adara.
Yeah, I like this. So basically what it's showing is we had, I guess my interpretation of that would be, we have selling that's pretty much most of the same size as the previous candle for the bullish pattern, and then it's just overwhelmed by buyers. So it shows there's still like some selling there, but the buyers have won out. It's just kind of a more, I guess, measured, more accurate, statistically accurate, I guess, because you're measuring the length, right? Way of looking at some of these reversal patterns with those long tails. So I like that it is kind of a measurement system, because it's also kind of similar to a lot of those patterns we're talking about with breakout patterns, measuring the breakout based on the flagpole, if you're talking about a bear flag or a bull flag. So I think that's a really good point, and I like that this one you kind of have some similarities between a couple of different patterns here.
There goes Tesla through 183 like nobody's business. We are now on our way down to 182. Again, you know, who knows where this stops out at, but if I had to throw a guess out there, I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be that $10 level. Let's see what we get at 180. I'm not taking out the remaining amount. It's one last beak wetter that I got on this bad boy, so no point taking it at some random 182 level. Let's see if we can make our way down to 180. Lots and lots of weakness on TSLA. We are now 12.25% in the red, guys. This one continues to bleed, but I'm sure that, you know, a lot of people right now making plans maybe here for some entries. I know I am, right? I'm not going to take it now, and I don't feel like I have to take it today, but I am definitely interested in TSLA. Neil's like, do it, do it, do it. Yeah. All right, we'll see what we get here on Tesla for the remainder of the day. All right, let's move on. The bullish or the Harami pattern. We're going to talk about the Harami pattern. Let me move over here. Again, don't come at me for some of these names or any of their meanings. I did not make them up, but the word Harami in Japanese means pregnant. The term represents the pattern's appearance, which resembles a pregnant woman's body with a small candlestick inside it. Don't judge. I didn't come up with this name, says the book. So even the book's trying to, deflect some of the hate there. But the whole point is, I guess this red candle over here is supposed to be the woman, and the green candle is supposed to be the baby. Make of that what you will. The point is, let's see what it means for trading. So the Harami pattern is formed by 2 consecutive candlesticks. The first candlestick has a long body and small shadows. As you can see here, this red one with a small lower wick and no upper wick. The second candlestick, or the baby, is a small candlestick with a body that is entirely inside, ensconced, engulfed inside the previous candlestick's body, and that's what we're looking for here. So very similar to that engulfing pattern, that bullish or bearish engulfing pattern that we were talking about previously, Adara. So that is the look there. And what we're looking for here for the bullish Harami pattern in an uptrend, the Harami pattern will have the first candlestick green and the second candlestick red. This indicates a possible trend reversal. So what comes prior to it is a downtrend, right? And then we get the making of the red candlestick, which is the woman, and the green candlestick, which is the baby, and then what we're supposed to see is a reversal, excuse me, and a move up into the right for the bullish Harami pattern. Conversely, in a downtrend, the first candlestick will be red, as you can see here, and the first candlestick will be red, and the second one will be green. A good time to look for buying opportunities. So bearish one, we're looking for a new red candle to make a new low. For a bullish one, we're looking for a green candle to make a new high. Anything to add or to ask about that?
Yeah, I think if we're going to analogize this a little bit, why with it being called the, I guess the Harami, or like the pregnant, the people are saying Harami means different things in different languages. We are just going with what the book is calling it.
Well, in Arabic, it means bad.
That's what,
Haram. But it's not harami.
Yeah, because I know haram.
Haram.
Yeah, because it's like things you can't do
exactly.
in Islam. Yeah.
It's
But
just an Arabic word. It's
okay,
not
yeah, sorry.
necessarily
I thought it was
specific
more
to-
specific. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just the Arabic language in general just means something you shouldn't be doing. Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But no, so basically what I think is interesting there is it's kind of like it's pregnant with a move to the other direction, right? So we're in a downward trend, and then we get pregnant with a little green candle, and then we move to the upside. That's going to be my analogy there, right? It's like you have this little moment, this glimmer of opportunity in a different direction, and it signifies the potential reversal to come when it is birthed. So that would be my...
You had to throw that in there. I love it.
I think that kind of makes sense when you think of it that way, I guess. That helps me fix it.
Better you say it than me because, well, everyone will be like,
Optics.
Right? Yeah. All right, guys, let's go on to the next one. Another unique name here, also from the Japanese language, is the Marubozu pattern. The Marubozu pattern also has a bullish and a bearish version. The term Marubozu means bald head or shaved head in Japanese. Neil's touching his head. All right, get him in there. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I thought you were going to do the Looney Tunes things. Neil, stop, bro. All right, the Marubozu pattern is a candlestick with a long body and no shadows, okay? So look at this one over here, the bullish one. It's just a full out from open to close, no wicks. Likewise with the red, close to open with no wicks, all right? It can either be bullish or bearish depending on the color, and it is most accurate in trend continuations after pullbacks. So even though we see it here, the bullish one preceded by a downtrend, what we don't see here is the uptrend that preceded these 3 red candles heading down, okay? That's what we don't see. So typically what you want is an up, a retracement, and then a continuation up again. So the bullish Marubozu is a long green candlestick with no upper or lower shadow. This candlestick indicates that buyers controlled the market price from the open to the close of that candle, suggesting strong bullish sentiment. Conversely, a bearish Marubozu pattern is the opposite of the bullish one. Surprise, surprise. The candlestick has a long red body with no upper or lower shadows or wicks, indicating the price opened at its high and closed at its lows. It suggests that bears were in complete control of the market and that selling pressure remained strong throughout the session. I got to tell you, I mean, looking at it ex post facto, you can really tell that that's what this candle signifies. The fact that in the bullish Marubozu pattern, that bulls are in absolute control. They took it from the bottom and they took it right to the top, and there was no selling pressure strong enough to create an upper wick. You see what I'm saying?
Way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about is this over here. So you can tell that this, by its very definition, without the explanation that we just gave, is an absolutely strong pattern. I have to interrupt because Tesla just broke 182, and it is on the way down, Katina Man, to 181.50. I don't know what the low is. 1 second. The low now on Tesla is exactly 181.50. It is. The Katina Man is now $4 in the money on AMD, as it popped up for absolutely no reason there midday. Between 11:30 and 11:50, shot up from 181.50 to 185, essentially 184.92. And the reason that I'm seeing here is a bunch of chatter on CNBC. Josh Brown announced that he sold AMD, and then another guy named Bill Barash announced he trimmed NVIDIA and AMD, and apparently that had everybody in a fuss, and people were selling. Well, the Katina Man announced the same thing yesterday. And he wanted that move too, right? So, yeah, we're kidding, of course. Yeah, but that's all I'm getting here on my blotter with respect to this AMD movement. Some chatter with respect to what some of the analysts on CNBC are saying. I did get an earlier entry about AMD getting a UBS price target upgrade from, and this is the one we were talking about earlier, from 135 to 220. Big Kyle Burdett looks like he's printing over there. 199 super chat. Dump it all, baby. Short everywhere. I know the perma bear, Kyle Burdett, having himself a day. Shout out to you, Kyle. I hope you continue to print, my man. And yeah, as long as you know, we can print together, it's all good. It's all gravy here. Continuing on with the bearish Marubozu pattern. Sorry, I had to digress there for a second to yell about Tesla. But the bearish Marubozu pattern is the opposite of one. It has a long red body with no upper or lower shadows or wicks, indicating that the price opened at its high and closed at its low. This suggests that bears were in complete control of the market and that selling pressure remained strong throughout the session. And last but not least here, Adara, is the Tweezer top and bottom. Interesting names as well. The Tweezer pattern is a short-term reversal pattern, and it forms when two candlestick bodies have the same highs in an uptrend or lows in a downtrend. You can see that over here. Yeah. So here we popped up. This candle over here has the exact same high as the next candle over here, and the candles can be of any color. So in this one, it's showing green then red, but it can be green and green, red and red, whatever the combination, it doesn't matter. This pattern indicates a struggle between buyers and sellers and can signal a potential trend reversal. In a downtrend, we have the Tweezer bottom, and this is the pattern on the right over here, okay? The Tweezer bottom, it requires two consecutive candlestick bodies of either color to reach the same low. So again, it can be red and green, green and red, red and red, green and green, as long as two consecutive candles at the bottom here have the exact same low. This formation indicates that buyers are entering the market and they were able to push the price back up from the low reached by the first candlestick. And that basically shows that we'll retrace and we'll probably start heading to the high side. It is an interesting pattern there. Kind of looks like very similar to the engulfing, except that they have the same lows, right? The opposite of that is the Tweezer top. And that's when the market is in an uptrend. And it requires two consecutive candlesticks to have the exact same high or similar highs for it to be valid. This pattern signals a shift in market momentum and a potential trend reversal as bears begin to take control of the market. And before I ask you if you have any questions, Tesla just broke 181. It is headed to 180. I think I'm going to wet my beak in front of that 180 area. Adara, should it make its up there? But I can't believe the move down on Tesla. That 185 flat bottom break, my days.
That's amazing. Yeah, this is beautiful. I was saying to Sharif off camera, it's like, you know, driving the Cybertruck down the hill or smashing the Cybertruck window. Congratulations to you. That is a truly momentous trade, and I do mean that. Yeah, one more comment too I want to say about the candlestick.
Sorry,
what I find interesting about this last one, no, it's okay. I mean, the market comes first. She comes first. But what I find is interesting too is they're kind of the opposite movement as well. So with the Tweezer top pattern, you've got this clear area of resistance, and then what's interesting too is it's actually where we close. Whereas with the Tweezer bottom pattern, what matters is we open at the same level.
Yes.
So I just think it's interesting. You have to kind of think of it opposite. Really, what all that matters is we're making this bottom or top in a clear area.
Yeah, remember that PayPal event that you mentioned today?
Yeah.
It's starting at 12:30. What's wrong?
So I was just making a sad face because I was in that short and I got out because we got way out of my area and ended up being
a short. What if it ends up being a long?
That's true, but I was just sad because I was in the short and then it fell.
Hold on. PayPal's tanking?
Oh yeah, that's why I made that sad face.
People are yelling about PayPal right now, so we're gonna go have a look here at PYPL on the NASDAQ. What's the deal here with PayPal? Oh my goodness. That was a Huadunk Central. That is a Huadunk right there. So this should be put there in all the definitions of Huadunk. 64 1/3. We just tanked. We're breaking 62. PayPal is tanking, guys. It's on its way down. So much action today on the midday. Oh, baby. We held 62 for now, but we dipped there into 61.80. We're going to load up the... we're going to load up that PayPal event. Dara, what is it called again?
On the first look.
Dara had her lip out. She was all upset.
It's called the first look.
I looked at her and I couldn't help but laugh. Like, I'm sorry. Dara.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm learning. And what I learned is maybe I was just, I had set too strict parameters. Maybe I should have looked at it again. Because I didn't take a second look at this, but first look event is today. That's what it is called. At 12:30. Wow, PayPal, congrats if you are in this short, I have to say. What a nice look here to the downside.
$5 AMD Katina. Sean, you gotta do the remix, bro. Whoa. Not you. Oh, I was like, why?
Wait.
What did I do? Oh, yeah. I was so confused
I was also confused. I was like, did we do something over here?
Go on, go on.
No, yeah, anyways, congrats if you are in this PayPal short. When's the next trade? That's gonna be my strategy today.
Gotcha.
I have to say, it's been kind of a rough trading day for me. I've been pretty upfront about that. I tried to get this NVIDIA move here, tried to go long when I saw this nice kind of triple bottom at 619. I watched the 619 touch a couple times, got involved, got out, and then I got back in the long, or on the short, when I noticed we had that 619 failure a couple times the last. That also did not work out, so I think we're going to take a moment and just take the market equivalent of a short vacation here. Let's go to Tesla.
180 Tesla, guys. 180 Tesla, I'm taking it out here. That's the end of the trade. So that's the end of the trade on TSLA. You know, you could wait for a 180 break, and we could get a 180 break. There's no, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Tesla today, but we're down 13.25%. So I said this is enough. We're going to wet our beak here at 180. Sadly, you know, we definitely got the majority of the position out at 183. What's up, Katina? Google, $1 in the money short. I'm not even looking at these Mag 7 names. Google, yeah, Google tanking up that 153, now breaking through 152. The Katina man is short, Google 152.97. So if you're following along with the Katina man and you want to take that Google trade, I want to tell you though that VWAP on Google, sorry to interrupt you, Adara.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Google is at that 151 2/3, Adara. So lots of excitement today. Lots of things happening here.
Yes.
Things.
So much happening. Again, congrats on that beautiful Tesla trade. Cybertruck windows fully smashed. So congratulations to you on that. Although I know you are an Elon fan, but today you got to short. Yeah. You got to get in that Cybertruck to the downside when it presents itself. You know what I mean? You don't say no to the Cybertruck in either direction. In this case, it was very much a move to the downside here. Couple super chats from Kyle Burdett that we missed, unfortunately, but we will say them now. Thank you so much as always. 1.99 super chat. Dump it, all baby. Short everywhere. And then another one here, Sharif, Tesla monthly chart before you add long term. So I guess just saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can pull up that Tesla monthly chart. Also, while you do that, there was a comment here from D. Westermeyer. 1 year ago today, Tesla, Meta, and Apple were all 140-ish. Tongue out emoji. That's crazy. That is wild moment. Also, Honest Abe giving us some hard truths, some hard honesty here in the chat. Can you believe Tesla and AMD are the same price?
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah,
I cannot.
yeah,
That's
nuts.
crazy.
That's nuts. Brendo sent me this message while you were talking, and I want to mention it. He says PayPal to pilot new AI-powered updates, including a cashback feature and a smart receipts. PayPal revamps Venmo business profiles, offers cashback rewards. I don't know why we sold off on that news. Probably something more specific than that, because I don't really see that as all that bearish. We'll get you more on that in a second. But was that Ram? Or, yeah, that's Ram. Ram, if we could show, this is the monthly chart on Tesla, okay? So whoever was telling me to look at the monthly, this is the monthly, okay? And what are we seeing here? We are seeing that there does seem to be support at that 165, 170-ish level. That is the most recent low that we got to, and that takes us all the way back into May 1st, 2023. That is the last time we were down at this level. Prior to that, April had a very similar low in front of 150s. So, I mean, we could definitely break lower than this. We're already definitely breaking down below the November low, below the October low, and it has put in several lower highs. This is the monthly chart on Tesla. Since July, it's been lower high, lower high, lower high, with one exception over here of December. I don't know, yeah, December, which obviously popped up a little bit, but there we go. We're making a newer low, but keep your eye on that 165. Yeah, 165 to 160-ish level. That takes us back into May 2023 on Tesla. Let's have a look at some other stuff over here. Yes, Google finding support at VWAP. Like we were saying, keep your eye on VWAP, 150, 175. Momentary level of support. We don't know if it's going to bounce off here. The Katina Man is short off that 153 level and riding that one all the way down. Google's been unusually strong today, and I haven't really seen a catalyst as to why. Is there a reason here? Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right, because it took out all-time highs, Sean says. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm looking for anything here specific. Business Insider. No, that's Business Insider. Nothing specific to Google that I'm seeing anyway. So unless you guys see something else, I don't see anything. Meta as well, Adara. We were talking about that Meta VWAP hold. Remember that initial VWAP hold? Look at that. It's giving up the ghost now, breaking down below VWAP, coming into that 392 level. So we'll have to see how Meta fares the rest of the afternoon. But I'm pleased as punch right now that I got out of my Tesla trade at 180, because now we are up back at that 181 level. So for the moment, and I'm just saying for the moment because this could end up being completely different by the end of the day, I've got bottom wick on this bad boy. We took that short at 185 for that flat bottom break, and we were rewarded almost instantaneously because this one absolutely did not look back at 185. It didn't care, and it moved $5 to the downside. What a day today for TSLA.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations for you on that trade. Please does punch for you. Some people saying thank you to you for that trade. Yeah, I think that 185 break to the downside, very clearly a fruitful area for Tesla. Right now, I think, you know, it's been, like I said, it's been a bit of a stress-ish day for me personally, although I've not been involved with that name in terms of trading. But so basically, I'm just going to stay patient, see what's interesting. NVIDIA on the 618 rejection, I might go short here, but my issue too, and I think my biggest issue with NVIDIA is just figuring out the appropriate area for stop, right? So like at what point do I want to exit and get out, you know, let the chips fall where they may and leave this trade. Do you know what I mean? So I have to be really cognizant of this. I'm watching at what we do at 618 here because I don't mind the idea of 618. Take some of it to 616. We have that 618 rejection. I like it, NVIDIA. Let's keep it coming. And then I may be NVIDIA. You know what I mean? Because I did take that short earlier. I just didn't have an appropriate stop. I got out when we broke 620. Definitely got out a little bit too soon. Then we had that big flush to the downside. I think definitely being patient and being more open to the wild, whimsical volatility of some of these names will be helpful for my trading. Because what is life without whimsy?
Yeah, it's not.
It's nothing.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we could probably live without whimsy, but
you know,
kind of life would it be?
Right? Yeah.
Laughing all the time.
Also, yeah, like just looking at the chat here, thank you to Frank Jones saying pay attention to those candlestick patterns that Sharif and Adira are teaching. They will help you make $sign. So much, you know, but I like saying specific emojis. Thank you to you and, you know, Mike Jones, the one and only. So thank you very much to Frank Jones. Nimitz saying, yeah, you and I both ended up wrong on PayPal. I went long and regretted with my size. Yeah, I think, I know some people were asking about PayPal. I stand by why I left the short. It's just unfortunate how it turned out. I did leave the short because I was like, I'm staying till we have that 64 break. I waited a couple times. We tested 64, then went back down. Then we broke 64 decisively, and I said, you know, we got to leave here. But I should have kept paying attention because look at this skosh of an evening star we had here, that 64 area again. I should have, you know, paid attention and gotten back in that short, right? So I think my biggest issue was leaving this one leaving my pal without looking back and seeing how it was doing, right? Because I guess the idea was right, but the execution was wrong. And again, just trying not to be too down on myself, always waiting for the next trade, which I think is a really nice piece of wisdom there from Obi that I could certainly benefit from. Also, Meta having an interesting bit of recovery just below VWAP here around that 392. My instincts in Meta have been questionable today. My instincts in general today have just been questionable. It's been quite a day of trading, but I do think as I learn, it's been a great day to learn with the market. Do you know what I mean? Because the market's giving you some hard lessons, and all you have to do is adapt. Don't be too emotional. Go with the grain as much as you can, and just getting ready to see what happens here.
Yes, ma'am.
So I really do. I do appreciate always every opportunity to learn in these crazy markets. But for now, yeah, Meta interesting to me, NVIDIA short, just kind of seeing what we do. We did eclipse that 618, but that 618.50 rejection possibly, we're gonna wait and see here. Like I said, definitely would have to plan my stop area because it's been a little too tight today. We've got to be a little bit looser here with these stop signs and some of these trades with this wild volatility in the market. That's definitely my take on this, yeah. I think I'm
just responding to Nima is asking me about something. And Nima, I just messaged you back there so you can have a look at that. Guys, we didn't do any housekeeping today. It is 12:42. And as we typically do, we find out, do we have anything here, market moving possibly at 1 o'clock? And we do today. 2 bulls at a 3 for this economic data point. The 7-year note auction, not one that I follow. Again, I follow the 2, the 5, and the 30. The 7, the 2, the 10, and the 30, pardon me, I don't follow the 5. 7-year note auction, 1 o'clock, previous print, 3.859. I'm gonna ask Brendo what the 7-year current yield is because we have to do a comparison to the result of the auction versus the current yield. So we'll have a look at that. Then on the closing, on the market recap show, you'll get the Fed balance sheet at 4:30. So nothing else there other than the 7-year note auction on this show today and for the remainder of the afternoon. I'm looking at PayPal here, guys. And the reason I'm looking at PayPal is, if we can go to the chart, is because we got that dip into 60 Adira, and then it popped off that dip into 60, right back into 61 1/3 right there. And here we go again to the downside. So this could be one, you know, just momentary relief on the way down. 4% negative now. The market not liking what PayPal announced, at least not for the moment, or whoever is participating in this sell-off. $60 in view here, as we did get that rejection off, bounce, pardon me, off 60 initially. Do we give up the ghost on 60 on a closing basis? It was a quick wick, and then we ended up closing at 60.50 there. So that the price action, the time that we spent below 60 was quite transitory. Shout out to Jerome Powell for that. But yeah, we'll see if we can get our way down to 60 already. If you took the first 1-minute candle and make a new low, you're already almost $1 in the money there. So good on you for taking that. I haven't participated in this PayPal trade. We're now down 4 1/3. We'll see how low we can go on this bad boy. Maybe we'll load up the event here on YouTube, and then we can you know, kind of see what they're doing over there. The other thing that I want to mention to you guys, Nat Gas. We had Nat Gas inventories today at 10:30, And now nat gas is down 3.5%, and Boyle, which is a triple levered nat gas ETF, is down 8.25%. Shout out Jay Lee. I know he loves to trade nat gas. I don't know if he's still in the chat right now. Here comes $60 on PayPal, and there goes $60 on PayPal. Oh my goodness, the Katina Man printing there, and we are headed down. We're headed down hard here on PYPL at $60, not a bottom for now. The Katina Man is short 61.30 on PayPal. He's holding this. Any plan, or he's going to hold? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Well, all right. He's revenge trading this bad boy because I guess there was a not so good trade on PayPal earlier, and now he's getting his revenge back. Oh, he's mad about Tesla. Sorry, not PayPal. Excuse me. He's mad about Tesla, and so he's taking out his frustrations on PayPal, and more recipient of a punching bag it could not be at the moment, Katina Man, because it is headed down. Guys, let's show the chart. 59.50. It is headed down quite aggressively. 5 1/3. We were talking about this 4 1/4. Now we're talking about 5 1/3 here, Dara.
Yeah, this has been 5. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try. Some people mentioning that short I had earlier. You have to follow your instincts. We got to a point where I could not justify holding on to that. We did have that nice push up above 64. I couldn't stay in. I do wish I had checked again though for that second evening star I mentioned earlier. That would have been a really good point for entry back to these candle patterns. Yeah, this I really should have been looking at re-entering there. So that will be my biggest issue. That will be the bigger L for me than leaving when I needed to leave. Also, Bears versus Bulls, thank you so much for this. Yahoo Finance, it up in 30 minutes. Janet Yellen delivering live remarks on the economy. Thank you so much for that, because this market did not need another catalyst. No, I'm joking. But
straight up.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting us know, Bears versus Bulls. Also, I am NVIDIA, and I am trying to hold on to any nerves that I have here. Basically, I did get a little bit reloaded at 619. I'm watching. We have a really hard time decisively staying above 619. The decisive 620 break, which would also be a higher high. That's when I say au revoir. In terms of profit takers, 617, we're going to take a Scotia profit. I'm going to hold a piece for the dream.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I do like this area of entry, basically trying to be a little bit more decisive on my plays, because that PayPal short, as much as it ended up going awry, that was one of the more decisive trades I've had, where I pulled up the chart, I said I like something, and I got in. I'm trying to work on being more decisive. I don't want to be paralyzed by analysis. Paralysis by analysis, when you say it like that, it sounds better. But yeah, basically the idea is I'm trying to be a little bit more decisive, acting on my ideas. And we're going to have to see how that goes. But right now, we are a skosh in the money, a couple cents here on this NVIDIA paper short. So some paper cents, hopefully coming NVIDIA. We will have to see. Yeah, Eric Leneville saying we need intention, not realization. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be nice if there's a little bit of both, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm kind of working towards. I'll have intention, but I just cannot pull the trigger. And you know what? We're going to have to, as Drake said, Twitter figures to trigger figures. It's one or the other, I think, trigger. Either way, that is a Drake line. And we're going to try to be a little bit more decisive here, pulling these triggers when we see trades we like. NVIDIA, let's keep going down to that 619.
Holy cow, man. Caterpillar's giving up the ghost here. Like, stop going down. Let's load up Cat, because it's bugging me. Right, because I've got this my long-term account now. We were dancing with 303. Now we're below 297. Come on, Caterpillar. Let's go back up. Well, yeah, I mean. Oh, yeah. Ram says Kramer was talking about Cat. Yeah. I do know about that, because Adara was telling me about it not that long ago. There was actually a really good flat bottom break here on Cat to be had, quite frankly. 298.5. Look at this little dip initially at around 1040. Then we bounced back up above 3, got to 301.5. Then we kind of just did like a series of lower highs here, kind of with a flat bottom at that 298.5, and then that would have been a nice $1.50 winner there, or even more, because it is still continuing to trend below 297. Is Caterpillar still up on the day and broke through that key resistance level of 300, but it doesn't look like it's going to be on a closing basis, and that's what I was talking about at the top of the show. I was saying that, it's great to get like a wick through 300 to push maybe some of the sellers that were sitting there, but on a closing basis is much more convincing than just on an intraday basis. I'm talking about that 300 break on the Caterpillar. So we'll have to wait and see what we get there. We haven't really looked at the futures today. We gave up the ghost there, it looks like, at 17.7 quite easily. Now we're at 17.650, trying to hold that 50-point level. We still are positive on the day on the NQ, albeit by 0.16%. So the market turned back a little bit there off the highs. I got to tell you, though, Apple has not turned off the highs. There is somebody buying up Apple here, probably Uncle Warren. But like, look, quite frankly, the market has absolutely, retraced. Look at Apple, though, well above that 195.5 level, holding that level, but it is putting lower highs in, but holding the previous resistance, which is resistance level 1 on pivots. Look how sick pivots have been working lately. There is the rejection on the IB, the implied balance high. And then we got another attempt there at 1040 through the break of that 195.60, which is resistance level 1 on pivot. And then you got a decided break through it. And then look, resistance becomes support. How many times have we seen that again? A bounce off it right here. Another couple of bounces off it right here. So we'll have to wait and see whether this ends up holding. But intraday, it is a great tool to use because you can scalp off it, off the dips or shorts off that key resistance or support level. Google is back also at VWAP, but it doesn't look like it's going to hold up here. It looks like Google will break that support level. The Katina man wants me to look at AMD because it's continuing to tank here. So we're going to look at AMD real quick. That's PayPal. Wow, look at that reversal candle there, putting in on PayPal. Very interesting reversal candle here on PayPal. But let's look at AMD real quick. Yeah, AMD continuing to trend lower here. Nice trade there. There goes 180 on AMD. We are now in the 179 and change. The low on the day is 179.04. That looks like it's coming in fast and furious here. If we continue to trend down, we're at that 200 period on the 5. So we'll see whether that gives a level of support or not. We haven't really looked at these small caps, but RVSN has been making moves, guys, but it is coming off that high at 10 1/3 now, trying to hold 9. RVSN, the small cap gapper du jour, second day runner today. Adara.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just staring at this Nvidia trade. Pardon?
You want me to keep going?
No, I'm good. I'm just really happy with this Nvidia short, I have to say. We had our little beak wetters. We have one more in. I have enough for 3 beak wetters this time. Pretty proud of how this trade was planned, basically. And I think the biggest thing, too, is I've talked about this. One of my biggest issues is if something doesn't go well in a stock, sometimes I'll have this bias where it's like, oh, I just can't trade that stock today, even if a good opportunity comes up. I did have 2 errors here on Nvidia. We did have 2 strikes, but in this third time, I was really watching. I was very careful. I was like, as long as we don't break 620, I want to stay in this short. So I got involved initially that 618.25, reloaded just below 619. I took the first beak wetter. I saw a little bit of tug of war here at that 617.50, so got out part there. Got out another beak wetter just below 616. The plan for the rest of it is below that 615. We might not get there, but I do think we have that opportunity, so I'm going to be careful. I didn't want to get it right at low of day, so I have my beak wetter set in about 25 cents below that low of day, 25 paper cents, because this is, paper trade. But yeah, super happy to be learning in these markets today. They have given you quite the lesson. We talk about edutainment. I think that's what this market is today. It's educating, it's entertaining, and it is giving you, that face laugh emoji. That's what the market has been, or that face laugh animation has been the markets today, for me at least. But just happy, finding trades that you think work, sticking to them, being decisive, and I think that has been important for me. So we'll have to see what we do here. As long as we do not break that 619-ish area, I like this. I might take some more profit at that 616 should we get back there. But I'm just, I'm pretty happy with how this is going. Now, what else is happening here? Also, Eric Lindeville, I thought this was pretty funny. I have a sticky note, do the opposite and you will be rich. Honestly, I feel the same way, right? And I think part of it is sometimes it's about developing your instincts. Because a lot of my instincts today were of questionable quality. I got out of that PayPal short again. I mean, I got out because we got below my point of interest, or we got above my point of interest, sorry, but I still should have gotten back in had I noticed this candle, right? Same with, some meta trades, but I think the biggest issue is, acknowledging you're not always going to be right, but it's about developing those instincts and recognizing, hey, these instincts were wrong. How do I grow from that? So I think, I'm just trying to learning from the mistakes and learning from good and bad. Long story short there. I think that's been pretty important. Mark Runka, hello, Roku, please. look, short candidate, great show. Thank you very much for being here, Mark, and I will look at Roku for you. Okay, I see what you mean. I do see what you mean. We have lower highs. We have this, not exactly a flat bottom, but definitely a nice clear area of support here, the 88.60. My thing is, I'd want to know when we touch, because we've only had one lower high so far, right? For myself, I would probably want to wait for like maybe another lower high, but definitely being cognizant of what we do around this 88.50 area. I have to say, I think this is a really interesting look here. Volume's about 2 mil. Thank you for bringing this one up. Like I said, I'd probably want a few more. We've had quite a few touches of base, though, I have to say. We've only had one lower high, but quite a few touches of that 88.50 base, so definitely one to keep an eye on. Thank you very much, Mark, for bringing up Roku for us today. We'll have to be one to watch, yes, pun intended, with me it often is. We'll have to keep Roku on our screens here today, see how that short goes. NVIDIA, coming back to my initial point of entry, so we're going to be very cognizant of here. We're going to have to plan an exit for the rest of our little beak waters. But yeah, happy with that trade, and just really, I think the biggest thing, at least that I've learned, is not giving up. Just keeping positive, being cognizant of what the market's doing, and just staying ready.
As long as you're cognizant. I'm just joking. Guys, we're getting a nice little bounce there on TSLA off 180. We're coming into the 50 period on the 1. Now, I'm not trying to put too much stock into the 50 period on the 1. However, I do want to see what it does around this level. Do we reject 182? Because at 182 level and the 50 period on the 1 minute right now, they're overlapping. So we are moving back up on some of these names, the Mag 7 names I'm talking about. NVIDIA off the bottom as well, a bit of a curl here on some of these names, but I'm watching intently to see if we can possibly reload the short on Tesla at 182, and looks like it might be giving me that opportunity right now. I could get short here, and then a break of 182 I could get out, give myself about 50 pennies worth of risk or so. I'm unsure about how I'm going to do this, so I'm just going to think about this for a sec. But we are dancing at this 181.5 level, so I don't want to take it at a random level. Right? I mean, the 50 period is a level that I do respect, but I'm trying to look to see here. Did Tesla really respect the 50 period earlier? No, not really. It did.
No respect for it? Sorry.
Right? I mean, it did take the 50 period over here when it was at 186.5. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to reload the short on Tesla. I need to see a few more red candles to the downside. If anything, you know, there's probably going to be a mean reversion trade back. Maybe into like 183 or something like that, especially if the market starts curling back up. And by market, I'm talking about the NQ. We'll have to wait and see what we get here. I'm not going to jump into this trade. Already had a banger. I've got bottom wick literally on the day, literally the bottom wick on the day right now, because it was that 180 area. The exact low of day right now is 180.06. Okay, so just right in front of 180. All right. Let's have a look here at AMD. We're going to restart the lesson in about 5 minutes, Adair, because we come back into 1 o'clock. Here, I'm looking at AMD. I'm looking at PayPal. I'm looking at Tesla. I'm looking at Caterpillar. Looks like PayPal is headed back down again. It did get a momentary reprieve here. And then look at this candle. Look, Adair.
Oh.
That's our candle.
That is our candle,
That's our
yeah.
candle. And we did get a nice little move back up, but this is why when you see these, where you see any candlestick patterns
like
on a
that,
low time frame, there has a high failure rate, because this could absolutely fail. We could break 59, right?
Yeah.
But there was that momentary reprieve. So if you were looking to scalp, this would have been an interesting one here.
Oh yeah, very, very nice scalping there. Also, I like that bottom. Look at that candle coming at that bottom of 59.4.
This one?
Yeah, like look how we had that candle here.
Inverse hammer candle.
Yeah, and then we had like another pattern there, right? Like a bit of a base forming there. So that could be significant.
Yes, this is a base forming here.
Yeah.
Now, if this breaks down below that level, that would be interesting. But also, if it was to break up above this level, look, you have key support here, right, before you pop back up. And then you popped up again right into that same level. Over here and over here, same level. So if we're able to break this level, which is, say, 60.50, on a closing basis, we could get a VWAP retracement, maybe into 62. Again, that would be kind of a bit of a counter trend trade, because we are down 5 1/3. We were anyway. What are you guys looking at? We know that the 7-year, yes, the 7-year is coming up Patrick, in 1 minute, but typically, you know, we got to wait a little bit till we get the yield. I'm just going to check. Brendo, is it possible to send me the 7-year yield? Because I don't have that on my platform. We just want to make a comparison between the 7-year and the current 7-year and the 7-year when it comes out at the auction. So hopefully Brendo will send that to me and we can make a comparison there. Thomas is looking for shorts. Nate says love has been wild. Patrick says pump it. Jameson says lower market pumps. Yeah, we're dancing with 17,650 right now. What else are people talking about here in the chat? So Breno just sent it to me. The 7-year, current 7-year yield right now, 4.115. 4.115. So we'll be getting the auction results in about 3 or 4 minutes. Anybody in the chat, if you do have the current, so Rob EV saying 4113, Brendo sent me 4115. Obviously, we're going to see a little bit of a difference there as the price is not static, it's dynamic. We will wait to see what the 7-year brings in a few minutes here, and then maybe that may be market moving. We've seen that in the past at 1 o'clock on the midday when the market pops. Sometimes it can be quite bamboozling. We can get a pop up, and then we can get a tank right back down. So I'm personally going to wait until the market has chosen a direction, if any, off the auction, and then maybe we can make a decision with some of these Mag 7 names. I am quite inclined to go long on Apple. I feel Apple has been holding up a lot better than any of the Mag 7 names on the day, okay? It is near highs. It's holding support, the resistance level 1, right, on the pivots, right? We're just a smidge below 196, so you know, if we really start pumping here on the future as a result of the auction, I am quite inclined to go long on Apple on the day. We'll have to wait and see what we get, but yeah, should be coming out momentarily here, Adara.
Yeah, really nice look there in Apple. I did exit. We're out Nvidia now, but I have to say, pretty happy with this trade. Packed my patience in my Samsonite there. Basically, got out the rest at that 6. I think, yeah, we got out like 618, so it was about another 10 paper penny, or I guess, no, 1 paper dollar winner there, sorry, because we got the rest out of the 619. Basically, I keep seeing the 619 failure and might continue to short this guy. We're seeing, I bet the one thing that concerns me, though, is the range on this is getting tighter and tighter with each 5-minute candle. We used to have about a $3 range in this. Now we're getting closer to like 2, 1.5. I'd have to be very cautious, very much a range trade. Very tight scalps, keeping an eye on that book, watching it like a hawk. That would be the only parameters with which I would re-enter this. That being said, I'm extremely enticed by that consistent 619 failure there. Also, I was having a conversation with Freddie, the friendly guy, in the chat. I'm sorry.
That name.
Asking about those 10-minute candles on Tesla. And look at this, like I think it definitely shows we're talking about, we're seeing a little bit of sellers getting overwhelmed by buyers here, these long tails to the downside, getting eaten back up. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart, especially talking about candlesticks. One of the biggest things I've learned since starting in the midday, and I know this is something you talk about a lot, Sharif, is that it's really important to pay attention to those wicks, much like how pre-market levels give you kind of a feel for how the market's tasting, but they're not going to be as important as intraday levels. Excuse me. I think you kind of see the same thing with wicks as well, right? Where it kind of gives you a sense of what buyers or sellers are doing, and the more important level is going to be the bottom.
Market's pumping. The market's pumping. It looks like we. You okay? Yeah, just take a swig of water there, and I'll take over. It looks as if the 7-year came in lower than the current print. I'm seeing here varying results. Mr. Weed saying 4109. There was another print there from someone earlier, a nothing burger, someone says. 4109 says CB as well. So Jimbo Slice also saying 4109, and on my thing here, I got 4109. So we got a momentary pop there on the future off 17650 into 176575. But, you know, it's a bit of a topping tail candle at the moment as we kind of retrace off that level. Apple also got a nice pop up into almost 196, 195.96, but now back into the 80s. No direction right now on this market, kind of stagnant here. This is the pop I'm talking about. Maybe we got a momentary pop up and then we'll continue. I don't know. We're a little bit below VWAP right now on the market. I don't want to jump into anything here willy-nilly. This is the closing print yesterday on the NQ. It is 17,621. We're well above that right now, up 0.1% on the day. But for how long? Right now, look, I just finished talking about Apple being an interesting long here. If the bond auction could help buoy this market to the high side, and we got a quick wick up into 196, but right down we go into 195 3/4 again. So we'll have to see whether or not we get this sustained move up or not. Look, this flat bottom break has been very, it's been sort of materializing here on Apple. We know for a fact that this teal line, shout out to the teal, trust the teal, baby, shout out to Max. This teal line is not the same on my chart as it is on Max's. This is pivot point resistance level 1, and it was acting as resistance earlier at the implied balance high. Again here at 1040 and 1050 when it rejected that level. And then once we broke it, we came back down to it, found support multiple times. Every time we come into this resistance level 1 on pivots, we have been bouncing. So if Apple gives up the ghost, it's going to be an interesting 195.60 flat bottom break. However, if it doesn't, we curl back up possibly through 196 in the high day at 196.27. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to make arrangements for whatever the eventuality is. If it's a flat bottom break, we'll take that. If it's not, if it's a 196 breakout on a closing basis, we'll take that too. But right now, we're in no man's land. We're kind of like, chopping in between, and I've got nothing really to, I've got no trades. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until something is to my liking. Right now, I think we can probably restart the lesson. Ram, if we can go back on the topics, please.
Yeah, thank you for taking over there for a moment. Well, my throat
okay?
Had a moment. Yeah, I am all good. Guess water is always very helpful. Also, yeah, just seeing Cuba Jason in the chat, just to make sure, by long you mean up. Yeah, so long up, short down. Totally get that. When I was first, I was very like, what's a short when I first started? So I totally understand. We love questions here, always. So always appreciate that. Also, yeah, I'm just start listening the moment. I did want to bring up Roblox here. Roblox got a giant pop up on excellent volume here right at 1, but we're falling right back again at that area of previous resistance, that 41.35. Looks like we're falling down from there, bouncing right through view up. Want to get to the lesson, but I just wanted to bring that up before I do that. Ooh. So now let's chat about this lesson. Do you mind getting the diagram up there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, thank you so much.
It's going to be a bit of a problem because I have to trade. Do you mind if I...
yeah, just
them actually. Oh. Just right-click on that and go copy. And then you should be able to open it in any browser you'd like. Hit Control-V. Nothing, eh? Okay. Well, I'll just do it. No problem.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you very much. But yeah, so first pattern we're going to talk about is the pin bar. So this does resemble that... hammer kind of candle, except what the difference with this is this one you do have a little bit of a top wick. So as Sharif was demonstrating earlier, hammer, you have to fully like smack the hammer, right? This is like, got like a little bit of a tiny top wick there or bottom wick there for the bearish pin bar. So basically, this is one of the most traded patterns out there. And basically, it's used by traders to identify potential trend reversals or continuations after pullbacks. It's actually more accurate, apparently, when it forms around key support and resistance levels, trend lines, and moving averages. So basically, confluence makes this one more accurate. But I guess I would say that's probably the case for all these patterns, right? Yeah. The more you have to kind of, the balance of the evidence, as Sharif was saying, the more you have to support that this idea is valid, the more... I guess the more supported it is here. Also, Darwin putting pin bar wizard. It's a great the Who reference here in the chat. So much appreciated there. Yeah, and I mean, apparently lots of traders are pin bar wizards because this is apparently a very popular pattern here. The bullish pin bar, so that's the one to the left here, characterized by a long lower shadow with a little teeny tiny body and a relatively short shadow on the other end. So there was a little bit of buying here, lots of selling, and then a small green candle. And basically the tail of the pin bar, so the lower shadow, the lower wick here, has to be at least 2/3 of the entire candlestick for the pattern to be valid. The bearish pin bar is going to be the exact opposite of that, right? So you've got a long upper shadow, small body, and a teeny tiny lower shadow. And so basically this is rejection of higher prices, shows that the market might be losing its momentum and a bearish reversal may be on the horizon. So we had some buying, completely overwhelmed by selling there. We do close red, and then
I have to remove this because I have to manage my trades. Do you want to just bring that down?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. I can totally do that. Okay. Give me a moment here. So yeah, just some more patterns. So now we have, I'm gonna full screen this and zoom in. Oh yes, we have the bullish Harami here and the bearish Harami. So this is means pregnant. And as we were kind of talking about, the way I like to think of it is I think it's pregnant with the movement in the opposite direction, right? So you've got this we're in a bearish trend, got a big long red candle, and then a teeny tiny green candle. So sorry. Yeah, F11 is
That's fine.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to F11 on that. It's not a browser, guys.
Sorry about that, yeah. But basically, I wanted to kind of say here with this, it's like I feel like it's kind of pregnant with the next movement, right? So you have two, you have a big, if for bullish, you've got a big red candlestick and then a small green candlestick contained within the movement. This shows, hey, we do have, you know, potentially some more bullishness on the horizon, sort of the opposite of the engulfing candle, which is certainly of note there. And then bearish Harami is going to be the opposite. We're in an uptrend, then we have a small little red candle here, and then more movement to the downside from there. So that's definitely what we've got here, bullish and bearish Harami. We also have here the... Thank you. Thank you. Learning new shortcuts every day. But yes, that's going to be the Harami there. So basically what I like to think about, I made that analogy, it's because it's pregnant with movement in the opposite direction. So that's why there's that tiny candle before a reversal here. Also, the Marubozu is going to be this next pattern here, another Japanese word. So this means shaved head or bald head. And why? Because there's no wicks in either direction. So this shows we're, again, another reversal pattern here. For the bullish, you're going to be in a downtrend. Then you see this, this green candle, really strong, taking out this movement here, gapping, in this case, gapping down and then moving nicely to the upside. And it shows that there's no movement down or up that isn't contained in this candle. This candle contains the entirety of the move. So I think that's a really key point here. And then we kind of continue to move to the upside from this. Same with the bearish in the opposite direction. We have a nice uptrend, then a nice red candle taking out all of this movement, all these gains, and no wicks to be found here, showing that we have all this movement to the downside, and I guess that implies further momentum down. As we said, all these patterns are fractal, meaning that they can be used in any time frame, but especially with something like this, when you have the entire movement contained within one candle, it's going to be much more significant should you be seeing it in a higher time frame. If you see something like this in a daily, an entire move contained within a candle, I would say that is pretty significant indeed. So no wicks there to be found. And then last but not least here, tweezer top and tweezer bottom. So this one, shorter term reversal pattern, it's saying, so basically what happens here is you've got this clear level of support or resistance. In the case of the tweezer top, which is going to be a bearish pattern, you have this green candle, and then you have this red candle that opens actually, same area at which we had this close, and then we continue to move to the downside from there. But the downside movement, it's going to be significant, but it's not going to take up the entirety of that green candle. And that shows, A, this is a clear level of resistance, and B, more downside maybe in the horizon. And again, I say maybe because you're never going to necessarily have this movement with every single candle pattern, and they're not always going to come to fruition, but it shows that it is possible. Then for the tweezer bottom pattern, you've got the exact opposite. What I was saying to Sharif earlier, it's interesting because with the tweezer top, you have a green candle and then you have a red candle opening at that same level and then closing lower. Tweezer bottom, you've got this red candle and this green candle opening at the same area from whence we closed and then opening higher, right? So I think this is a really key point here. Again, much like the tweezer top, you have a shorter movement, but definitely strong movement to the upside in this case, showing that we can continue higher and showing a very clear, nice area of support here. So that's kind of my take on that, or that's the candlestick's take on that. That's the tweezer top and the tweezer bottom. And we also had the Marubozu, the Harami, and the pin bar, all really key patterns. So hopefully we can become pin bar wizards. Thank you again to Darwin for that lovely The Who pun earlier today. Shout out to The Who, shout out to Tommy. Also, there was something I appreciated. West, y'all in the chat. Is there a bamboozled candle pattern? I mean, I guess,
yeah,
you know,
that'd be nice.
I think PayPal actually might have been a bamboozled pattern. I'll show that one here because, oh my gosh.
What do you got on that?
Yeah,
it's
PayPal.
Bouncing back up. Double
well, now
bottom.
it's bouncing back up now, but that PayPal movement to the downside was a bamboozled pattern, if there ever was one. I'll call that. I think bamboozled patterns, there's no rule. You just know it when you see it.
You want to see bamboozle pattern? This
Please
is
do.
a bamboozle pattern.
Ooh.
This is a bamboozle pattern. Short, long, short. Apple really did me in over here. I tried to get long, averaged in, stop out. Got short, popped back up, stop out. This is what happens when the trade goes unplanned. Bad trade by me. I'm not going to trade this right now. I'm not going to ride on bad emotions, but that was a bit of a tougher trade. Looked for a possible hold here at VWAP. Didn't get the hold, so flipped short and flipped short. Then it popped up. Looked there to be aggressive buying in through the $0.50 again. And there goes Apple down right now. The market coming back down again. So feeling awfully stupid am I for getting out of this short. Should have just stuck with it. I hate when I flip-flop like this. It's headed back down. We are coming into 195 and coming back into 195 aggressively. Guys, we are $1.25 off the highs on Apple. 195 is about to break. We're accumulating right now in front of the whole dollar level. Barely green on AAPL here, as we are now only 0.3% in the green after being almost 1% to the good today. So we'll have to wait and see what Apple does. Feeling silly, though. Should have stuck with this short off that auction result. Let's call it that. As you know, we kind of wicked in several times on the NQ into VWAP, only to reject. That should have been my indicator. Especially, you know, with the fact that we were doing the dance here at 17,650. Then we looked possibly to take that 770, but we'd have to get through the VWAP hurdle first. We didn't get through it. We wicked into VWAP, and you could tell there were sellers instituted or shorts getting in here, as we had basically inverse hammer candles or topping tail candles, right? And there goes the futures. We are headed down here on the futures, and something probably tells me that Apple is headed down right now too, and we just broke 195 on Apple. I feel like an idiot, right? Oh man, that just frustrates me. All right, coming into pivot here on Apple, 194.70 is where the pivot is hanging out at. And this is an area that we did get support earlier. We got it on the IB low there, as well as subsequent to that from essentially 940 till about 10 o'clock. We were bouncing off pivot. Does it act as another support level? We'll have to wait and see, but frustrating for me. You know, oh, geez, Louise, look at that tank. That would have been a hell of a short. Just moronic is what I have to say about that. Oh, that's very frustrating. That's very frustrating. All right, I'm going to leave that one for a second and look at Tesla, because we were talking about that 182 top on Tesla, and that 182 top has absolutely materialized as you're now $1 south of that. You're about to give up the ghost on that dollar too. It's about to be a bit more. Could we eventually get a 180 break today on Tesla? We're back in 180 territory again. We're at 180 3/4 right now. So Tesla headed down, Apple headed down, Softies headed down, NVIDIA at low of day, even Meta breaking through 392 right now, and then the Amazonian also coming down to that 157, breaking 158. So the market on its way down, and Google as well. Google has been the strongest of the Mag 7 names on the day, up over 2% on its way down into VWAP again. So do we get a 151 break here on Google? Because that was the previous support on Google, and we did get a bit of a consolidation here, about 20 minutes worth of consolidation at 151.5. So that is a recycled level. Anyway, disappointed in myself for not holding that Apple short after flipping short from the long. And Apple is tanking, bro. Are we watching this? 194 1/3 now on Apple. Apple is negative on the day now. I know, man. Apple is on its way down. Do we have a reason why Apple's tanking like this? I'm looking. Apple overhauls App Store in Europe in response to new digital. Is that it? What is this? No, it can't be it. Announces. Okay, there's a whole bunch of stuff that came in here at 1 o'clock for Apple. So we're going to go through all of them. Okay? Here it is. Apple announces changes to iOS, Safari, and I don't know what the hell this 2 thing is. I don't know what that is, but let's keep going. There's another one here. Apple announced changes to iOS, Safari, and the App Store in Europe, in the European Union. This is all coming in at 1 o'clock. And then here it is, another one. Apple to allow downloads outside App Store in the EU with new fees. That came in as well. So all these are coming in at 1 o'clock, likely something to do with the fact that Apple and the market just absolutely tanked, and Apple is tanking way more than any of the other Mag 7 names. Maybe in comparison with the NVIDIA. NVIDIA also headed aggressively to the downside. 614 right now on NVIDIA. The Katina man printing on that as he's short NVDA. And we have a yesterday close on NVIDIA of a little bit below 614. 613 and 2/3 it looks like. We'll have to see if we can give up the ghost on that whole dollar level, but I'm awfully disappointed in myself for not having held that Apple short Adair.
I mean, you know, like it was like I was the same way kind of earlier with some of the stuff I was doing in that market with PayPal, but I think too, like as long as you had a plan and you stuck with the plan, like it makes sense, right? And I think this market
I didn't stick
been,
with the plan.
Right? So that you pardon?
I didn't.
Oh,
I would have held
I
the
thought,
short.
Oh, right, okay. But yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's
and
all
I
right.
think the
It's
thing
nothing to
is
do with
too
you.
is it's like this market has been, in your words, bamboozling.
It has been.
I think you knew where I was going with that.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, this has been what a look. Also, NVIDIA is doing a pattern that I'm going to christen the high-heeled shoe. We have a nice little base here of that 615. Then we kind of go as a high-heeled shoe does. We have a little bit of a move up and then a little slope to the downside. Now we've broken below that high-heeled shoe level. Instead of coming right to that base of 616, we have broken lower. But yeah, so this is I'm going to make this a pattern. I have no idea. You know, we're going to try to make fetch happen. But I think this is an interesting look with this solid kind of base here, kind of move up and then slump to the downside. This has been certainly a look here. If NVIDIA keeps kind of doing something interesting at 616, I may take this short to 616, take it to 615 area, because this range has certainly been of interest. Going to keep an eye on this look here. Britt Burden also calling it the H pattern. Yeah, that's pretty clear too. But yeah, I think certainly this area is of interest. Also, T-Money saying Microsoft has overtaken Apple market cap. Those two have been in a battle for market cap for the last couple, I want to say like at least a week now, where one will overtake the other one and then that one will overtake each other. So Apple and Microsoft, I suspect this little teeny tiny war may continue. But yeah, NVIDIA kind of interesting to me. That's basically been the main one I'm looking at. I have to be honest, this market has been bamboozling for me personally. I think that's a very accurate word. But yeah, I think Tesla too, keeping an eye on Tesla. I think we have slightly higher highs, but I still think that Tesla and that consolidation we had around 182 would make me a bit nervous. I would maybe, like NVIDIA, just kind of consider we get to a range and I like whack-a-mole hammering it back to the downside here, right? So I think that move at 182, 181, kind of interesting to me. Same with that NVIDIA 217 and yonder to the downside of interest.
PayPal is recovering too.
Oh, it is.
Through that 61 level, shout out to Eddie R, bringing that to my attention, Adara, as we did pop up through $61, got into 61, looks in a quarter or maybe a fifth there. We'll see if we can hold. Definitely 61 was a bit of a flat top there. Look at that long consolidation sideways before eventually breaking through the 50 period and the whole dollar level. VWAP on my chart here for PayPal is a little bit below 62. It's about 61.80 or so. Let me just confirm that is the level on my other platform, as they do start populating price action at different times. So on my platform on the side here, it's 61.50 is VWAP, not 61.80. So a little bit of a difference there, not much, but you know, for the scalper, it would matter. So we'll keep looking to see here if PayPal continues to mean revert off that 59.5. Nice looking double bottom here on PayPal. We'll see, you know, whether it can get back up into any discernible level. I mean, where would the level be on PayPal right now that you would expect support? Obviously, we have the whole dollar level that we're through, that's 61. The other one is what we said, 61.80 to 61.50, because that's where VWAP is, and we know we have 62 as well here. We'll have to see whether we can make our way back up there. The market just coming off lows right now. The NQ is only marginally green, up 0.06%. The ES now outperforming the NQ. It's up 0.18, 0.04 for the NQ at the moment. So looks like we may end up red right now on the NQ, likely owing to the Apple Huadun coming in there as a result of news coming out of Europe with respect to the App Store and the antitrust issues that they possibly could have had there in Europe. Now, these adjustments by Apple doesn't preclude the European regulator still coming. Anybody who knows anything about regulation knows that the European regulator is like the catalyst for regulation. It regulates and then other jurisdictions seem to follow. They're quite activist in how they do things over there. And so we'll see whether or not they still come after Apple after the changes. We know that the American regulator, has already made their intention clear of coming after Apple. A March date now is being floated around as a possible institution of the antitrust lawsuit. I think it's the Department of Justice. I was going to say the Federal Trade Commission, but I'm pretty sure it's the DOJ that's going to come after Apple here. Merrick Garland and his boys. We'll see whether or not we get headlines with respect to that. Yeah, I'm just looking at some PayPal headlines coming in through here. Yeah, the PayPal first look presentation. No, that's nothing new. There. Anything else being floated around the chat? Just in Time wants me to look at Mara plus 5% just in case. Yeah, let's have a look at Mara. Why not? We didn't look at any, I think, crypto names. At least I didn't today. We'll take off AMD. We'll put MARA. Mara takes a minute to load on my platform. I'm not really sure why, but it's always done this essentially. Okay, Mara, not a bad look today. Okay. Incrementally higher lows and higher highs. It did hold support. This was a great trade for whoever took it off yesterday's close, 15 2/3. That's where we closed out yesterday on Mara, and it dipped into that, and it held it quite nicely. It made a bit of a higher high there through 16 1/4, and now we just made a new high at 16 1/2, 16.54 to be exact. We're pumping up here into the 45s. Where do we find resistance? If we find resistance, that is. Yesterday's price action kind of bamboozling. Look at this, incrementally lower highs, lower lows. Hard to chart something like this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that, you know, from, what was that? Tuesday's level, the high there was 16 2/3. It also acted as an interesting level yesterday on the 8 o'clock dip into 16 2/3. So let's see if we can continue to ascend here above 16 1/2 and what we do at 16 2/3. So shout out to you. Just in Time for pointing that out, but I'd say be on the lookout here for resistance at 16 2/3, owing to yesterday's IB low there and Tuesday's high. So that is the look on Mara. Some of the other small cap gappers that we were looking at, PCSA is now below VWAP and it's not tradable for me. RVSN is above VWAP. Now this one did its thing. I mean, we didn't talk about this one off the 750 pop. It popped all the way into 10 1/3 because we were yelling about Tesla, right? But this one, while Tesla was tanking, this one was ascending. So RVSN had a nice break through 10 bucks. It is now back to VWAP though, off that $8 level, straddling VWAP from the high side. So could this be another VWAP hold high of daybreak? It, you know, typically this is not the way that pattern looks. Like what was that one yesterday? EVAX?
EVAX, yeah.
EVAX, yeah. EVAX yesterday was a lot better of an example of the VWAP hold high of daybreak. I'm concerned about this like succession of lower highs and lower lows, albeit holding VWAP. I just don't want to huadunk into that $7 level because that's the next level of support below VWAP. So that could huadunk quite quickly. And just to remind you guys, RVSN has a float of, kind of reminding myself by doing this, RVSN has a float of 1.18 million shares. So about 1.2 million shares of a float, and you know typically what can happen with that. So be on the lookout for bamboozlement on RVSN, but as I say that, PayPal continues to trend higher.
Yeah, PayPal's a nice look. For me, the one area I'm kind of keeping an eye on PayPal, actually where we are right now, this 6120. Now that sounds kind of arbitrary, but why I find it interesting, I always look for areas where we had kind of consolidation earlier before it continued to move to the downside. PayPal took a little bit of a breather at the 6120 and then continued to huadunk, I can't say it properly.
You did good.
But yeah, thank you. And so right now, kind of bouncing around that 1 EMA, 9 EMA, what am I saying?
Huadunk. There you go.
Thank you. I have approval from Sean now on the pronunciation, so very happy to hear that.
It's my word. What the hell?
I'm sorry.
You never steal words.
What words do I steal?
Stole Neil's flat bottom break.
Wow.
I thought that was your flat bottom break.
It is my flat. He's being sarcastic.
Oh.
Adira. I love it. Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, sarcasm translator over here. Thank you very much. As always, Sharif helping out with that. But yeah, no, I think also, yeah, whatever way you pronounce it, PayPal did do that off of that 6120. Now we're coming back into 6120. If we can hold this area, it looks like we are. I may take this long. And then that, but the issue is too, my only really area of reprieve for like an out would be that 60-60. I'm trying to get better at planning the trades here with regards to outs and stops, because that's what got me on some of these NVIDIA trades earlier before I had that nice little short here to the downside. That's redundant, but yeah. We had that short there. Basically, NVIDIA, I don't kind of tempted to get involved in this one again. I do really like this 615 hold. I'd probably take to around that 616, just kind of clear dollar area. And I want to wait a little bit longer, but I've seen us on the book here hold that 615 like a glove. Although as I say that now we're, or sorry, 615, yeah, we're decisively below. So we shall see what we shall see here. Nima saying Tesla looking spicy on the 1 hour chart. Robbie V also asking about Tesla. So let's look at Tesla. Tesla is like, I think that, let's see what we do at 182. Will we break above 182? I feel like I'm an auctioneer. Oh, we're saying 182, going once, going twice. Sold to Tesla, sort of? No, we bounced back down. I think 182 could be holding for a skosh longer here. Yeah, watching that, I think that 182 could be interesting. Yeah, Tesla in the 1 hour, I see what you mean, Nima. I think we do clearly have that kind of double bottom, these wicks to the downside here at that 182. We just broke one. Oh, just hit my hand there very hard. Hit 182 to the upside here. RIP my hand, but RIP also, I guess, Tesla shorts. Because Tesla towards that 182.30, and then as I say that, we kind of come back down. But yeah, 182, if we can hold that on Tesla, really interesting look. NVIDIA still struggling, languishing a little bit below that 615. I do feel like an auctioneer, but that's what good markets make you feel like, an auctioneer. Exciting markets, gives you something to talk about. Curtis the Conqueror, great name, saying 183 inbound for Tesla. It could be, I think the fact that we're holding 182 still after that big move up and then back down could be interesting. Tom Cook describing it really well. Tesla gathering steam here. Yeah, we'll see what's cooking there on Tesla with that steam. Very much appreciate that comment. I need to stop slamming my hand against this desk. We're going to put it in hand jail for now because that has not been working out. Meta interesting kind of as a range play here. I like that we have lower highs, lower lows. I've said this a lot. I don't know if this is necessarily true. This is another thing I'd like to do some statistical analysis on, because I've noticed that Meta, when it gets into a range, it really enjoys those ranges. And I mean, I can't say this with any statistical certainty, but it's just a thing I've noticed more so than the other Mag 7s. Meta likes its nice little ranges here. So this is just my experience as someone who range scalps for whatever reason on these Mag 7s. But yeah, if we get back to that 392 and get whack-a-mole back to the downside, might get in for a short there, take a little bit of profit at that earlier low so that 391.50 ask and then save a piece for the dream, because that's what we do here. Because what is life without whimsy?
It's nothing.
You tell me.
I really like William Knight's comment there in the chat, because he says as follows: if you're learning how to trade, Google searching flat bottoms and flat tops can get a little interesting, to say the least. I can only imagine, my friend. Shout out to you. What'd you say, Neil? He said. William Knight. Oh no, we never told anybody to search that. But I'm assuming, you know, they may want to find out what flat bottoms and flat tops are. I mean, but what I would suggest you do, obviously, put technical analysis or put chart pattern or something.
A lot of these chart patterns, you might want to like the pregnancy candle. Maybe clarify you mean candle.
Yeah, look. You know, we don't make up these names. Well, flat bottom, I guess. I mean, I never thought about it like that, Adara. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to business here, because everything is on the way down, and 17.6 is coming in fast, and it is coming in furious here on the NQ. And what is to become of the NQ at 17.6? We're going to have to watch intently. We definitely have a 17.589 overnight low that was made at around, I believe, 10:30 or 11:30 yesterday night. That's the overnight trading, which often is on very low volume and very tight ranges. But we're coming into that level awfully quickly. I'm going to be watching intently at 17.6 to see what we get here and whether we do the wick shimmy dance from the north side or we give up the ghost and we start doing it from the south side, in which case it's going to be a short. But right now, holding 17.6 for the moment. We're negative now on the NQ, albeit by 0.05%. The closing print yesterday on the NQ was 17.620. We're below that right now at 611. So decisions to be made. We don't have to make them quickly because oftentimes we can kind of dance at this level. We wick a little bit, pop up, wick back down, pop back up. So we'll have to wait and see what we get on this level. But it's nice to know that we are, we're gravitating towards a key level and we're not in no man's land, because I find that to be the hardest type of trade, when we're stuck in between ranges and you're unsure of whether we're going to, reject or bounce or what we're going to do. So keeping my eye on 17.6, but I don't know, man. It looks like as if we may give up the ghost here. What's been the trend here on the future on the daily? Let's flip to the daily on the future. How many green days in a row have we had, guys? Well, we had one doji day over here, which I would basically not count. So it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row, for the exception of this one over here, which is a candle of indecision. So, I mean, it's not entirely unreasonable for us to have a red day and retrace a little bit. What's up, Katina Man?
My algo team.
The Katina Man is like, yo, where's the algo team at, man? The Katina Man was outside the algo room this morning. He said net short, and now he's worried that they're going to poach him off the show. And so that's the running gag here, guys. Slav Paradise. I went to the gym and I came back to the bloodbath. What happened? We're really unsure. This kind of precipitated likely a little bit after the 1 o'clock time slot, but we were already coming down off 1 o'clock, before 1 o'clock, excuse me, because we topped out at 17,752 at around 11, I want to say, yeah, about 12 o'clock or so, mid-noon, yeah. Noon, I think we hit the high of day. At 1 o'clock, we got that 7-year auction. I guess the market didn't digest it that well because we really tanked off that number. Now, it could have been that. It could have been this Apple news that came from Europe about these new regulations with respect to anti-competitive practices and changes they're going to be making over there, because Apple absolutely tanked once that news hit at 1 o'clock. So it's been about half an hour of Apple tanking, trying to mean revert right now back into pivot on AAPL. As I watch and as I talk, we are, for the moment, underline, remember, 17.6 right now on the future. We haven't given up that ghost quite yet, so this might end up being an interesting range trade off the lows today. We're going to have to wait and see. I'm not in anything right now. I don't like anything. I'm going to be waiting to see if we can add to the tally today. But we're 1-1. 1 win, 1 loss. Loss on Apple and a big win on Tesla. That 185 flat bottom break on the short.
Yeah, congratulations on that, Tesla. That was, yeah, what a trade there. I did get involved in this PayPal short once again, because like I said, I've been trying to get into a pattern where it's like, sometimes I will just not trust myself with names if one trade goes poorly. The thing is, as upset as I am about missing this PayPal short, I did adhere to out if we have the decisive break above that 61.20 area. We were holding pretty well. I want to take out some profit at that 60.60 area, because all of this chop and turn around that area makes me very nervous indeed. Then I will be saving a piece for the dream for that break below 60. That is the plan with PayPal. Also, Sean sent this thing he posted on his Instagram. We're going to play this video for everybody here. AI trading floors. Show me a $100,000 trading floor. Show me a $500,000 trading floor. And then show me $1 million trading floor there. Oh, billion trading floor, yeah. Whew. Yeah, we're going to play that one more time. This is very cool. Thank you for posting this. And thank you, Sean, for sending that. Always lots of stuff going on in his social media at TraderTV Sean, I believe, on all the platforms. And so, yeah, here we go. He shared his tweets on you can catch Sean's tweets on the market recap as well. But yeah, so basically, thank you very much for sending that, Sean. I would love if those were the trading floors of the future. Very much indeed. So that's the take on that. Also, this looks like this PayPal short is deciding to be my friend for a little bit here. We're going to get that first beak wetter ready to go at this 59s. So we'll see if this comes to fruition here. As I said, one of my strategies for setting my profit takers or my beak wetters is always, where did we have previous resistance or support? Because I want to get out before I have to deal with that. I do not like all this consolidation at that 60-60. Sam, I am. So I would like to take out some profit there in case we do actually struggle at that area. Right now, PayPal, 10 cents in the paper money in this simulator trade. I'm not going to let that that situation earlier upset me. You just got to, as Obi says, where's the next trade? That's what I'm trying to work on here. We did have some losses today. We lost on Meta. We lost on Microsoft. We lost in some of those NVIDIA trades, and we did lose on PayPal earlier. But I'm not going to let that discourage me. As 21 Savage says, trying to make less L's and take more M's. Unfortunately, we made many L's today, or took many L's today, but that's not going to let me, I'm not going to let that get me down there. Can't nobody break my stride.
Can nobody hold me down? Oh no.
The market will keep moving, and it does. What are you seeing over here?
I just got back from the bathroom. I was going to say washroom, but I knew the Americans would be like, what? What's the washroom? No, but for real, we're keeping my eye here on Google as it gave up that VWAP level quite aggressively, Adara. Now we are on our way down to 151. I don't really see a great area of support until that 150 level. Not because it's the 150 level, but because, well, partly because it's the 150 level, but also look at this crest over here that we got yesterday on the opening print where 150 was an obvious resistance level. We got into 148 high 80s there yesterday. So if Google makes its way back down at to 150, I will be a buyer there, but that requires us to drop about $1.20 from where we're trading at right now. Google's closing print yesterday was 148 2/3. So, you know, we're still very positive on the day on Google, 1.69% to the good at the moment. We are holding 17.6 as well on the future. So if you took that dip, where do we get to exactly the low there? It was exactly 17.675. Exactly at that level. And so if you took that with a resting order, you printed like 28 points already and you're up 20 right now. We'll see if 17.6 can hold. But that was an aggressive move down, guys, with, you know, a plethora of lower highs and lower lows. You know, I just hate to sit at that 17.6 level, you know, kind of willy-nilly there, hoping that it holds. We'll see what we get right now. We'll let this trade a little bit more. Maybe we'll jump in on a futures trade. As I look up as well at my scanner, I don't see anything awfully enticing. Except maybe this RVSN trade, Adara. This RVSN trade continues to present you with opportunities. Here's the look. I mean, it really is holding VWAP here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And it has held VWAP the majority of the day, ever since it broke through it there at around 11:20, 11:15. It hasn't looked back, and that dip into VWAP was absolutely bought up. Look at that. That just shows you buyer said, no, you don't. And they pushed it right back up with subsequent green candles pushing this through 9, but we're sub 9 right now on RVSN. Again, I just want to mention 1 million and change share float, very dangerous, and should be, you know, treated, or should be traded, excuse me, with caution, because it can turn on you. Now, this one, I looked at the float on this one, RVSN. The short float is negligible. It's 1 1/3%, so really nothing to talk much about there on RVSN. But maybe I set up a possible dip trade at VWAP, which is right now sitting at 810. I mentioned Mara earlier, and then somebody in the chat said that they're taking Mara short. I think, you know, good on you if you print on it, but I think, you know, it's a little risky seeing that you're taking it at highs. The only good news is that I think that you may have resistance here on this dip. This was the 8 a.m. dip yesterday, 16 2/3. That was a recycled level as well from Tuesday when you crested out at 16 2/3. So I'd say if you continue to hold this short past 16 2/3, that might be a bit risky. But until that time, I think you may have something here as, you know, well, you're up 5% on Mara. So it's a counter trend trade, which is not my style. But yeah, interesting there. Mara continues to be strong. The future holding 17.6. Ooh, right back up into 17.640 we go on the future. How's the big tech names looking? Google popping up here, Meta popping up. Even Tesla now above 182, and Nvidia got off the schneid there at 614. Now it's at 617. Apple dead money right now, just below 195 at pivots, using pivot here as resistance. So I mean, it's fantastic. Flipping of short of support and resistance. This was obviously support earlier to the pivot, and now we're using the pivot as resistance. So the pivots continue to work well on Apple. I don't have anything at the moment, sadly, but we'll continue to watch these markets and see what's up. Just in time, Mara bulls are applying some pressure with this higher consolidation. Yeah, well, it's also up on the day, well over 5%. What is crypto up to? We're still sub 40,000 on Bitcoin. We're at 39,813. We're above 2,200 right now on Ethereum. Coinbase is flat. Mara and Riot are the ones that are running, and CLSK. So the mining names are running. Coinbase is flat. MicroStrategies is up 2%. That's really it here. What's DWAC up to? We didn't look at DWAC today. Down double digits, says Neil. So DWAC is, he didn't even check, but he's just
right.
guessing.
Is it? Yeah.
Is it?
He's absolutely right. Neil, the DWAC whisper over here, the real DWAC deal with Neil, down about 12% right now. I thought he had looked at it because I pulled it up the second you mentioned it, and I was like, oh, Neil has been looking at it. D-week, says Roger, and you called it there, sir. Look at this interesting interaction with VWAP here, right? Like, as we said, VWAP's not always going to be interacting with every stock, but it's always something to keep an eye on. And DWAC and VWAP have a very peculiar magnetism. Shout out to Obi talking about how stocks will gravitate towards certain levels.
Yes, ma'am.
We have this beautiful VWAP ballet here around 35, the dance with no pants, the ballet, whatever you call it, we danced. Then we kind of went above VWAP, had this nice spike right at the open, up to and then back down towards VWAP. Then we touch it, reflect right off there at that 35-esque level here. Now we're seeing lower highs. Certainly a look there. Also a look is I just typed the name of the stock instead of the ticker. That is it's been quite a day over here. PayPal, I got back in this move to the downside here at that 60-90 area. Took out some of my my first beak wetter, dip my toe there, or dip my beak, I guess, at that 60-60 because I saw this consolidation. I initially tried to get that 60-59 fill, then we bounced right back up to 60-80, and I was like, nah. So I took it at 60-60 proper. We got out here, very happy with how this is going, and this is why I always say, like, for whatever reason, you have to come up with whatever strategy works for you, right? What I find works for me, or at least helps quell some of my trading-related stress and anxieties, because I am someone who overthinks quite a lot. Wherever I see previous resistance or support, that's where you have to dip your beak in. So that's why I wanted to get some of the position out of that 60-60 because I did not like the stop and churn we had there for a good 15 minutes around 1 o'clock. Rest of the position, trying to take that out. I haven't quite decided if I want to go 60-60 or 60-20. We're going to have to see what we do at 60-20 on the book. But either way, where we see that consolidation, where we see previous resistance, we shall exit this trade here. Stock Trader, very apt name in the chat here, asking, what do you think about Seagon? Up 60%. Let's look at Seagon.
It's an IPO.
Oh, an IPO.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she gone to the upside. I'll say that here for Seagon. This one has been only going on for 15 minutes, 3 5-minute candles. I'd like to know more about this company. Oh, oncology. So this one opened at $29 a share, priced at $19 a share on 20 million shares. That is what we have going on here with Seagon. Really nice spike off that 29, kind of dipping below. I did try to, I try to stay away from IPOs. I was very lucky. The first IPO I witnessed here was ARM, and watching the book on that as we hit above 60, huge opportunity for me. I feel very grateful I got to witness that. I tried to trade Birkenstock. That was quite a moment. So the point is, IPO is very volatile. You have to be very careful indeed. Really nice look here on Seagon. Very much gone to the upside here. Tom Cook praising the sticky note. Sticky note nation always. Shout out to Sean for that. And how is your futures trade going?
Not bad. We wet our beak there for about a 10-point winner. I'm keeping an eye on this level here. If it starts breaking above this level, I want to see if it's going to hold this resistance point. I'll give it a few more points here. I mean, very small size with like a couple contracts, but We just want to see if we can make our way back down into 17.6. If it gets too much higher here, I'm just going to cut it. I'm not going to start nursing this trade.
I like that.
Yeah, no, I've got no patience at this level, especially, you know, with us winding down the show. About 10 minutes left on the show here. We definitely rejected aggressively on the future earlier. What's going on with my futures thing over here? It's not updating, and now it's giving me the wrong information. We definitely aggressively retraced off the highs. 17,752 is the high a day. We came back aggressively lower into 17,6. That is essentially the low of day right now. Not the overnight low, but the after the bell low is essentially 17.6. And yeah, Apple has been tanking. Tesla obviously had its big, huge quadunk earlier. We were involved in that. It was a 185 flat bottom break. Meta was strong earlier. Google's been the strongest of the bunch, but it's been kind of, we're kind of like in no man's land at the moment here off these levels. So taking some trades just to keep things interesting, but not with any significant size. I already wet my beak on a little bit of profit on this one. What is the chat up to here? D-Loaf says, don't forget SSR. I'm assuming that has to do with the IPO that you were talking about, trading there. Jose Gonzalez wants to look at CCTG. Let's have a look at CCTG. We'll bring in the side chart over here, and we'll have a look at that. See what this one is up to. CCTG. Let's flip to the 5 candle on this bad boy. Good looker. Okay, not a bad looker here on CCTG. Yeah, 1345 low, 1750 high. It's at the highs right now as we speak. What's the float on this? CCTG. Oops. CCTG. There we go. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the float on this name. 1.25 million shares, very small, so be careful with this one, but it is moving quite well. Do I have a headline for it, or I mean a catalyst for it? What is the name of this company? CCSC Technology, okay. Here it is. CCSC Technology International Holding Limited announces closing of initial public offering, okay. All right, so that's basically it right there. Let's see what the levels are. So the implied, or the jump this morning at 11 took us to about 17.25. We're well through that now. Yesterday's high there took us to about 18 bucks. So expect possible resistance at 18, not just because it's that whole dollar level, but because we popped into it yesterday on CCTG. So be careful at these levels. Maybe wet your beak on some profits or de-risk, and you know, try to get in front of that. Hope that helps. All right, back to the futures here. I didn't mean that on purpose. We're back. Yeah, we're back towards that 17.625. I've got a beak wetter here at 17.615. I'm trying to take profits at 10-point increments, but if this starts making higher lows, I'm going to cut this trade. About 8 minutes left on the show. Looking to wet my beak here at 15s.
Yeah, congratulations on that trade. I like how you put it, like nursing the trade. You're not going to nurse. I feel like that's a good way to look at trades. Like there's certain trades you want to nurse and nurture and really care for and make sure it grows up. Because you know sometimes you don't know what they're going to be when it grows up. You really want to raise it well. Other trades, you're like, you have an idea. If it works, it works. Especially like this close to the end of our time here. Someone asked in the chat, you think PayPal is a short? Yeah, I mean, I have to say I did like this failure of the 6120, especially key, or 6140, I guess, especially key because look where we had that chop and turn earlier, right? So I saw that failure of the level and I was like, I did wet my beak, dip my toe, what have you, at that 60-60 because that's where we had some chop and turn earlier. We really do seem to be holding to 60-60 like glue, so I'm getting a little bit worried here. But either way, we are 30 paper pennies in the money in this sim trade. I like this look here. Bears versus Bulls saying accidental puns are the best. I do concur. I agree there, 100%. PayPal falling here below this 60-60, dropping some cash here on PayPal. Pun very intended. Pardon? I got in at 60.90 for the short.
No, he wants to know the price right now.
Oh, 60-60-ish. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I was confused.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you're involved in it, Katina Man? The Katina man is short 61.40 on paper.
And look, that's the same area I was identifying as an area of interest. So I'm always very happy when I can kind of look at the charts and find areas that are of interest to people.
And that Sean liked,
and Sean liked it, so I feel a little bit emboldened there. I did not get top wick. I got mid wick, which is not a term, but that is what I got. Thank you.
Made up words have a home on this show any time of the day, year, or month. We like it. Bang goes Ram, and down go the futures again. We wet our beak there at 15s. Could we get another 17.6 touch? We're awfully close. We're going to set up another beak wetter at 05s.
Yeah, so there we go. Congratulations on that. PayPal also falling there. Almost a dollar club for Sean here because we are getting close to 40s on PayPal. Sean, that dollar club button may be ready for a new member for PayPal.
Here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, congrats on that trade. I like the look on this. We didn't take an L on that first short, but trying to make more M's here, as always. I like this short. Renata's asking if Sean is still shorting Tesla. I guess we will be to be discovered. We will find out very shortly.
What are you, Ontario license plate?
Pardon?
You didn't get it. You've never seen Ontario license plates before?
Oh, I heard
yours
Carrie.
To discover.
Oh yeah, yours to discover. I heard Carrie.
I know it is different. It is. It's like open for business. Yeah, you have the new license plate. I've seen it.
Open for business.
Yeah. It's what. Well, you can blame your boy Doug Ford.
My boy.
Guys. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Rob Ford's the OG, man. Guys, we just wet our beak there again at 17.605 as we do the dance with no pants at 17.6 here. Can 17.6 hold? We've been dancing with 17.6 for a while now, going on about half an hour or so where we've been at these levels. If we get a decided break of 17.6, I think that's really going to affect some of these markets at the moment. Let's go ahead and sit at the other side of 17.6. We're going to sit at 55s, 95s and a quarter there. There we go. We got the print. We are now below 17.6, guys. Not by that much. There's likely going to be a struggle here between buyers and sellers. The Katina man printing there. Max on the screen Lamboing his teal Lambo Huracan. Right? It's a hell of a car there. About $250,000 worth of car, maybe even a bit more. We dipped a little bit below 17.6 at the moment, but not on a closing basis. Adara, a bit of a tug and war here between buyers and sellers. How do we resolve? I am not sure. Let's continue to pack our patience. Big Kyle Burdett. I'm not reading that out, Kyle, but that is funny. You are a joker, but yes, I don't know what she's saying. Actually, I heard she was yapping a little earlier. We'll have to wait and see what is reported later, guys. Softy is on its way down here. It looks like more aggressively than some other names. Microsoft on the way down into 404. Shout out to the highway right here as well. Sorry, I just throw that in there. Yeah, because we have a highway here called the 404. And there we go. We got the print at 617.595. The futures on their way down, giving up the ghost at the 100-point level. Adara.
Yeah, what a market today. What a look. Mike Robinson saying, come on down, Tessie. I ain't mad at you. Shout out to Tupac. Great song, I ain't mad at you. Don't know if that was intentional, but had to shout that out here. And yeah, Madam Stressla certainly falling here from that 182 once again, but we still do have higher highs, higher lows. I like this idea of this range kind of up and down that 181, 182 level. I've discussed it earlier. Seems like it's still holding pretty well. PayPal continuing its descent. Tony Price asking in the chat, revenge trade on PayPal, and I said I think it's more of a second act. You know what I mean? We had to take an intermission there because I didn't rush into this trade. Like I think it would have been more revenge-esque had I gotten in the second we were kind of falling. But I did wait. I waited to see that failure of that area of resistance, although I did get in probably about 50 pennies too late. I should have acted with a little bit more swiftness, a little bit more vengeance. But that being said, 30 paper cents in the money. We did dip our toe, wet our beak, etc. Part of this position, money, 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 money. Sharif's favorite button, as we know. So I'm getting really pumped up here. This has been quite a day for the market. Not my best day of trading by far, but certainly a day that taught me a lot. And I think that's important. You know, you can fall down, and that's fine. We did fall down when we got out of PayPal before it fell down, but we got right back up. And AMD AMD, another dollar trade here.
The Katina man is absolutely printing on AMD as the market comes down. Wow. We just broke 16,575. We are on our way down aggressively here on the future. We've given up the ghost at 17.6. That's past. How low do we go here? We're going to have to do some charting, but there's only 1 minute left. So we'll leave the charting to the big kahunas who are going to be taking over. Send it away, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much to everybody for being here. Wild day in the market. So much to talk about. And we certainly have been talking about it, the chat talking about it. Jameson saying metanoia. I mean, yeah, meta, I'll pull up quickly. Crazy move here, higher high, and then a decisive move to the downside here. Who knows what we're doing? I did try to dabble in meta earlier, did not go well, but you know what, like I said, if you fall, if it doesn't go well, just got to pick yourself back up. Do not dwell on some of those trades, because we both had some good trades, some trades today. And
I had a boneheaded trade on Apple.
Oh, I had several boneheaded trades all day, but what you have to do is learn from it, and that's what we do here on How to Trade, I would like to think. But for now, we will see you tomorrow for another action-packed day of candlesticks, doing the wick dance as you were doing earlier.
Wick shimmy.
The wick shimmy dance. But for now, we're gonna wick shimmy over to the big desk. We will see you tomorrow, same bad time and the same bad channel. But now, Brendan is in fact at that big desk.
Dump it.
Hey guys, yeah, market back downside here, back to flat essentially for the S&P 500. We got some more comments from the ECB. Remember, we got that interest rate decision this morning